Attention!
Region Review.
The Raging Cajuns will be a source of pride for this university, for the alumni, fans, and donors as we achieve success in the classroom, in the competitive arena, and in the community.
It's about to get really fun.
We're looking for dudes that will stand up. Well, Coach, let me tell you today, I'm here and I'm ready to stand up. And I challenge you, Raging Cajun Nation, to stand up with us. Stand up with us. Let's lock hand in hand and let's walk through the gates of Omaha.
Hey, I love y'all boys. Let's grind every day starting today. Let's do it. Y'all ready? Alert! Alert! Ready! Who's that team ready? Who's that team ready? That's up!
I got one thing to say right here. Cajuns win!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into a very unusual episode of the Raging Review podcast. I don't know how long this is going to last, if we're being honest. I'm just going to stay on here until I get kicked off or I get tired. But Hurricane Party 2024. I was talking to Josh today, and Josh was like, you know what? We got nothing going on. Hurricane's hitting. People are sitting around enjoying their almost at Halloween party, hurricane party, and came up with this bright idea. Why don't we just get together and just talk? Bryce, what's up, man? So we got people showing up. That's a good thing. We got some people in the X space. So look, we're gonna get wild today. We have no rules on this stream. What's going to happen is, you can do one of a couple of things. You can get in the X space, request to speak. I'll give you the floor. We'll talk. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, you want my number, DM me. I'll give you my number to hop on here. Or even better, if you're having a hurricane party right now, I will even DM you a link to hop on camera with me, so we can do this together. Because I want to see what people in Acadiana and across Louisiana are doing in this crazy hurricane. Number one Cajun fan. What is going on, man?
Man, I'll tell you what, it is very difficult for me to work from home in the drone industry because everything is on a computer. And my setup is not as good as work.
Yeah. You don't have the 15 screens, right?
No, not one. I mean, I can get two.
So you're working from home today because of the storm. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I've been working from home. Actually, we were let go at 12 o'clock on Monday, work from home yesterday, today.
Dang.
And we were actually given the green light this morning to work from home for the rest of the week. But we can report to the office tomorrow on Friday. So I'm definitely doing that.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd be feeling, I don't know. Look, I honestly, I do work from home quite a bit. We have that flexibility at work, but after a little while, I start getting a little antsy. I'm like you. I want my 3 screens back, man.
Dude, I feel confined, bro. All this rain, like, man, this storm. I think we got lucky. We definitely got lucky. But if it actually did hit us, would have been bad. Maybe a tree or 2 or 5 would have fallen, but I think we would have been fine.
Yeah. No, sweet. People are texting me on here already. What I mean, are you working from home? Are you able to partake in maybe some of the beverages that I just poured for myself here that's disappearing in my background?
You talking about just like drinking beer?
Drinking anything, man. Beer, whiskey. I mean, it's a hurricane party, dude.
I probably could, but we are actually supposed to be working like on the clock.
Yeah, this is a public. Yeah, you probably don't want to say that in public, right?
I mean, it is what it is, man. I would love to drink a beer, dude. I mean, we were told to go home, so we're home.
What part of Acadiana do you live in, by the way?
I actually can look from my balcony, dude, right at Lafayette General Hospital.
Solid. That's awesome. Somebody posted an old Lafayette General picture the other day. Man,
I saw that.
It looked terrible.
It was all brick, dude.
I know, and it was like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure I was born there, and that was in the 70s. So They hadn't had an aesthetic adjustment to them for 30, 40, 50 years. So it was good to see them spruce that up a little bit. But that's cool. You're near the oil center.
100%, man. Yeah, it was cool to see that. Yeah, I'm a 95 baby.
95. Gosh, Josh, they got these kids that are freaking born in 95. You kidding me? I was a sophomore in high school.
Come on now.
Come on now. Look, we got the man here, Josh. What's up, Joshua?
But you're old.
You know what? You can, kiss my ass. Okay, I'm gonna say it.
Let me
rephrase. Not a rage and review.
Old.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is not a rage and review like normal broadcast. So kiss my ass, Josh. I can say that today.
Sweet. What we're gonna talk about?
We're shooting at the hip, man. I mean, we can talk about whatever you want. I know. Look, there is something we got to talk about at some point, and that's the debate last night.
Oh,
I
awesome.
mean, bruh. Come on, bro.
Actually, I do want to talk about if y'all want.
Yeah. What's up?
Cajuns baseball.
Bruh. Who doesn't want to talk about Cajuns baseball? What you want to talk about?
I know it's not the most popular sport in all of college world, but my God, are we good?
Man, I'm looking forward to it this year. And one of my guys, Blaine Lucas. I mean, that guy tore it up as a senior in high school. He'll be a true freshman this year. I think he's going to do great things for us because that dude is badass. And I know they got some other players behind him that are also coming in that are going to be really, really good.
Two things. One, we definitely have a transfer coming in from Texas that actually played against us last year. He's coming to play shortstop. And the second thing is with the new stadium, dude, how do you feel about the atmosphere of the games? Like last year, man, like the older I get, the more I'm able to like resonate with the atmosphere and just like enjoy what I'm viewing. And I feel like last year, MLT felt like a minor league ballpark with the in between inning songs, with the concessions, with everything. Like I don't know how you felt about it, but that's what I noticed, and I just wanted to know what you thought.
I know you want to talk about that, Josh, but before you go, I want to say I went to a game. Unfortunately, I only got to make it out to one weekend I made it out a couple times, but the one weekend I went was later in the season. It was the last series, in fact, against South Alabama, where we just absolutely, dominated. But the thing that I liked is that, like you said, we're getting kind of that atmosphere back that I worked really hard for a long time with the music and the sound effects and all that. My brother is actually sitting in the press box now, and he's giving direction to them on like, hey, we need to play something to pick it up. You need to play something now. We need to keep it going. So I credit my big brother, Chris, for sitting up there. Coach Doe is working with the music guy and the all that to get all that started. But no, man, it felt like home again. Like I know it's almost like we needed a couple of years to kind of feel our way to how we could make it a bigger stadium feel still as the Teague did, as intimate as the Teague did. And I feel, Josh, I don't know if it's just me, even that one weekend, but it feels like we're starting to get that back a little bit.
I think we gave credit multiple times here on in-game atmosphere and excitement and all those things, but it makes it a whole lot easier when you're winning. When you got a guy like Debo, I was actually going through some things today, working on that new intro that we talked about. But the amount of times that Debo had a big hit or an electric moment or, whatever the case, and it wasn't just him. Lee Amade actually had a few and Torres, and we had a team full of guys that made plays. And I know you can say that about lots of years, but this year in particular, a lot of home games, a lot of exciting home games, a lot of series that were memorable for me. But yes, I agree that the music is definitely 10 times better than it was, say, 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know if it's Chris. I don't know if we've cycled in a couple of, guys with an ear per se. I don't know what it is, but it was definitely better. There's no question about that.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't done the numbers or anything, but I know we did lose people this year, but I don't know how many. Do you guys know if we lost a lot or if we're having to fill shoes? Obviously, shortstop Kyle DeBarge leaving, yes, but just didn't know if you guys knew any more than I did.
I think we lost Debo. Wargo is leaving, right?
Yeah.
Wargo's gone. He transferred, I believe. We lost a couple pitchers. I know Martinez is gone. So, yeah, we lost a few. But I will say the core of the team outside of Adebo is still going to be there. And I'm really look, I'm telling you, man, after looking at some of the film and the guys that we're recruiting this year, I'm super excited about what lies ahead for us. Like I said, Blaine Lucas is one of the guys. A couple of the other guys' names are escaping me, but I think we're going to be very, very good this year. And I think the fact that we continue year in and year out to get better and finish the season in a better position than last, even though it's 1 or 2 games, I think it's trending upwards for us.
Yeah, I've been watching baseball. Go ahead.
The guy from Texas, are we 100% sure that he's coming here to play short? Because the freshman League City, Nick, what's his name? It's escaping me.
I know that I was trying to think of it, but I can't think of his name.
Big tall kid. I'm pretty sure they're going to put him at short. I'd love to see the third also. Don't get me wrong. I know he could play hot corner, did this year, but from everything that we were hearing through the season, he was going to be the next shortstop here.
Yeah, you're probably right. That guy from Texas, I mean, knowing Deggs now and the amount of people I saw play different positions last year, that dude might be playing elsewhere on the field, but can still play shortstop, at any given moment. But I just want to let you guys know that whenever I interact with you guys on Twitter, I've been watching Cajuns baseball, dude, since probably 2004. I definitely know whenever Brad Saloon played and all those guys. But I just seen the trend of Cajuns baseball, and man, I think we're a damn good program, dude. I know there's other colleges out there who have a different success than us, but I think that's just the nature of the beast. But at the end of the day, dude, we make regionals. We obviously definitely try to make super regionals and college world series, but man, we definitely recruit well. I think we're a damn good team in our conference, and then obviously whenever we play non-conference, I think we do pretty damn good.
No, I agree. I mean, we're lucky. It's really what we're built, man, and we're lucky to have a coach like Deggs that comes in and doesn't miss a beat. In fact, he improves us. We've seen also on the recruiting side.
If you can reload like we did this year after losing several major leaguers and roster turnover that we had, that's a sign of a healthy program. You haven't seen that in a while. Like even those couple of those Hayden Cantrell years when we were down, you felt like you had talent on the roster, you just couldn't put it together. So
Sam
the fact that we were able to lose.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but Sam Ardoin.
No, you're good. You're good. But just to say, we have had talent in and out of the program as long as we can remember. The fact of the matter is the last 3 years we've been able to reload and continue to progress and get it later into the postseason. In this day and age in college baseball, and that's an accomplishment. To me, that's about that's the best indicator of a good program as you can find.
I agree, dude. And with Gunner, the addition to with Gunner on the team, he knows how to shove it. He's going to teach all of his pitchers how to do the same thing and do it strategically. And I think that addition to the squad was a huge plus. I've been knowing Gunner, guys, since 5th grade. I actually went to Fatima with him, and he moved to Barb, went play, at Barb, because obviously he moved to Lake Charles. But dude, that dude can shove it, and he'll definitely teach his players how to do that.
Well, we all know him very well as well, and unfortunately, we were denied an interview with him. But maybe one day in the future, might be able to get him back. I knew that was he was ready to be here, but it is what it is.
Hey, shout out to Fatima Warrior in the space. That's awesome. We
got Fatima Warrior here. Nice.
Yeah, that's what he said. He went to Fatima with
Oh, I missed that part. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're Warriors too. So
guys, I was able to make it from pre-K all the way to 8th grade. I did good.
That's a pipeline right there.
Impressive. Hey, Longclaw was asking, is Aaron Getty pitching tonight? Aaron Getty pitched last night. I don't think he got the decision. It was 2-2 when he came out of the game. And guess who won the game for the A's in extra innings? That would be Hogan Harris.
Yes, sir.
And Hoagie kind of owns spaghetti at this point, man. That's 2 in a row.
I know, man. I know.
Go ahead. New topic, maybe maybe in the next 10 minutes or something. But I want to talk about that Glasgow move to Texas Tech.
Man, funny how we're pushing NIL now, right? Had no interest before. Now all of a sudden we're pushing Corral Law.
Somebody was
obviously
about
there's something that people
ago.
know that I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. Could it have been avoided? I don't know. I mean, no, it couldn't have, because we weren't in the position to give Glasgow what he needed, or should I say, what he felt he needed to be successful. And that's the end of it. We did not put ourselves in a position as a program to do that for him.
Do you know how much he was asking for?
I don't know how much he's asking for, but I know he's got $1 million kids with making, NIL deals of $1 million at Texas Tech.
Okay.
I mean, there's no way we could have competed with that, even if we were in a position to give more in the NIL world. But it would have been a hell of a lot easier to try to retain him if we said, okay, we'll give you 500, 600,000,
Yeah.
I don't know. You almost feel, I keep waiting for the bubble to burst, and maybe it's too early in the process, but something's got to give at some point.
With the whole policy of NILs and all that?
Everything. Yeah. I mean, it's like the housing market. Like, it's going to grow. You got to, I mean, how sustainable is it to pay an 18-year-old kid $1 million to play for you, and then you don't even know what you're going to get out of them? Truly, you don't, you're taking a chance on a kid for $1.5 million.
And like, I hate to say it, but it's literally the nature of the beast. The kid could get hurt and he can't play anymore. And guess what? That's literally dead money. And who's going to get it now? Like, I don't understand that process if that happens.
Yeah. Or the donors that are giving the money to do this. Like, that's got to get old too, right?
It's something. Yeah, you're definitely not wrong about something's got to give. I think at some point, dude, people will get fed up with this process and be like, okay, look, it looks like everyone just has a bunch of FU money, and we don't operate like that. So we'll see what the kids really want. Do y'all want to play football and make it to the NFL, or do you want to collect money while you're in college and maybe learn something, because you're so distracted with how much money you can get in college that you're not learning what 2 + 2 equals anymore, Well,
the sad part is half the time the kids aren't even getting the money. I mean, we have a couple of examples of kids taking NIL because their uncle is, quote, representing them. The mom is pushing them to take the money. They go to another program, ride the bench, and never see $1 because all that went to the uncle and the mom.
Yeah, dude. Like, what 18-year-old knows how to handle $500,000+ or even $200,000+? I remember, dude, I went to North Dakota in 2015 when I was 19 years old, and that guy that I worked for, he owes me $5,000. As a 19-year-old, I would have blown through $5,000 easily, but imagine just getting $500,000. Sure, each person might be a little bit more frugal than the other, but yeah, it's just a lot of money in your face. That's all I gotta say.
I just don't think it's sustainable. I mean, I think, like I said, something's got to give at some point. I just don't know when that is. If we're being honest, when is that going to happen? So, yeah, I don't know, man. But going back to Glasgow, look, Texas Tech decided that they were going to take that sport seriously. And again, I don't know that there's any money that we could have had in Lafayette that would have kept them, because even if we had taken NIL seriously and Cruellon seriously at the beginning, I just don't think we had the funds to pay what they're paying these ladies to play there.
And maybe the NIL process is such a new thing in the world. Like, that whole process is still in its infant stages. So colleges haven't been able to get prepared or even put in an operation like policy or standard in their department, because it might have been talked about or circulated on the internet for like 3 years or something like that. So everyone's like, oh man, let's try to get prepared. There might be an NIL thing going on. So it gives schools like a low heads up, in my opinion. And I think it'll be a few years until some schools figure out how to do it the best way. And that's what I think.
Well, I think they've already crossed the bridge that they can't, go hit reverse and go back on. So we're already there. I think the problem is the whole point of NIL was name, image, likeness. And now it's not just name, image, likeness. It's, let me give you a check so that you play for us. That was not the intention of NIL in the beginning. What that's gonna lead to is a more formal paying of players. And then you have to look at, okay, well then are they university employees? And then if so, are they do healthcare right? And then are they entitled to benefits? And so now you're going down this black hole where it's not only just NIL. Now they're taking, NIL is going to eventually be what NIL should have been to begin with, but then you have to add into the fact that you got to pay the player because now they're an employee. So that's a whole nother level to things. Then what if the players unionize? Okay, now you have a players union. It's
a headache. Sounds like a headache.
Yeah, it is. And I think his name is Mitt Winter. I don't know if you follow him on X, but he is an attorney that follows NIL. I mean, he's a genius when it comes to NIL. That dude knows a lot. And it's interesting to see his takes because he often takes the player side of things and says, this is all good for the players, which I agree. But on the same token, right now, the current state of it is, I mean, other schools are recruiting players, which they shouldn't be, using NIL before they even enter the transfer portal. And two, you got people that are on, two streets down from Martin Hall that are shopping our players out, right? So they're calling around shopping our players to other programs because they're going to get a cut of that NIL money. So they're shopping the players, trying to get a value on them. Then they call the grandma, the mama, the uncle, and say, hey, I'll cut you in on this if you get the player to transfer to Miami. And so there's nothing you can do to stop it,
Yeah. At the end of the day, dude, it seems like it's all legal tampering.
Yeah, that's all it is.
That's literally all it is, dude.
And there's nothing, I mean, the NCAA is useless. I mean, I think we've determined that there's nothing that they can do to stop it. They haven't tried to stop it. They can't. They're powerless because now you've gotten the federal government involved. So how are they going to stop they can't overrule the federal government. It's just a big old mess. I don't know when when that bubble is going to burst, but it just makes, and that's another thing I said this earlier in the year, like when I get on and, or not just me, but anybody gets on and criticizes a player, and they come back and say, man, that's just an 18-year-old kid. How dare you? It's just a kid. Nah, they're not kids anymore. They're, in my eyes, now they're getting paid. They're professionals. So they can take the criticism. We're not talking about kids. And I made a joke. Look, when Zion left, I made a joke. I mean, Zion, and looking back, it was probably in poor taste. But he always put out these Bible verses. And I just put out a funny Bible verse that, it was like, it was dumb, right? It was dumb, but it was like, I hope you get swamp ass or something. It was stupid.
Yeah.
Man, it was just like, I had done the worst thing ever. And how dare you mock him? And I'm like, he's taking $500,000 to go to Houston. He's not my friend anymore. I'm sorry, dude. Like, you're not loyal to the program. I'm done. He's not, they're not kids anymore. Once they start entering that phase of where they're getting paid and now they're leaving you to get paid more money, and that's all it's about, it's free market to me.
Yeah, and then once the NIL people try to rebuttal and argue with an 18-year-old, the 18-year-old don't know anything about rebuttaling with anybody. So, or maybe he does or doesn't, but it's maybe he doesn't in finances. I don't know. But, it's just a headache. That's all it is.
And I think you go back to looking at the basketball player escapes me that went to Louisville, but he rode the bench, never played a minute. He's transferring out. I mean, Zion went to Houston. He's riding the bench. He might not ever play. May never get another snap at Houston, but he got paid.
The grass ain't greener, bro. But they're probably just chasing money because they're like, all right, let me do it while I can in college. So once I get in the real world, it might be a scarce time for me until I get a job. They could be looking at it like that,
I guess. But Zion is incredibly talented and would have been a starter for us and would have his name out there. And at the very least could be a Brian Mitchell type of quarterback in the NFL. I don't know. Maybe not. But he's insanely talented and is riding the bitch at Houston.
No, I agree, dude. I'm very bitter about that.
So, yeah, don't come at me that, oh, God, how dare you, grown man, insult an 18-year-old. Well, you know what? You getting paid? You left for a check? I don't feel bad about it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. My mom's watching. She'll probably call me after and be like, you shouldn't have said that. But I said it.
All right. So Tulane's got to play Oklahoma this weekend. If Tulane somehow does and beats them, what a game that's going to be at Cajun Field, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm tired of the people saying, "Oh, but it's at 11 o'clock." I don't care. Show up, man. It's,
Dude.
I'll most likely be there. So
Dude, sometimes I wish the games were at 11 o'clock. I mean, I'm single, dude. I ain't got much going on. So as soon as I wake up, I'm pretty much my own boss. I do what I want.
nice.
But I just love having to be able to go watch a football game at 11 o'clock in the morning instead of having to wait all day for it to, finally start.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, man. Though, Tulane is damn good, and obviously Oklahoma is what 15th in the country right now.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be. I look forward to that game. I mean, they should have beaten Kansas State. I think we can all agree on that. That would have been amazing to come 3-0 into Lafayette, right? That would have been absolutely insane.
Hell yeah.
But even if they lose to Oklahoma, I still think the Tulane fan base, some of them are going to show up, and I think our fans are going to show up. I think we just party a little bit earlier and stay a little bit later than we would normally do that. I know my boy Ryan Landry is going to have some mimosas and stuff for me early in the morning, and and maybe take a shot with me during our pregame. I'm not a big shots guy, but you know what? For that, if Ryan would promise to take a shot with me on camera before the game, I would totally be down for that. I don't know,
dude. You might have to screen everybody if you host a post game live broadcast. You got to make sure they're not too drunk, and then get them on the mic.
Heck, I have to make sure I'm not too drunk. I don't know if you want to trust me with that. I already know Jerry's going to be losing his mind because Jerry wants to keep everything, everybody mind their P's and Q's. But then I come in and want to be a freaking what's his face on ESPN. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It should be fun though. It could be early. At least it won't be hot because I remember a couple of well, I'd say a couple of years. I'm getting old. About 10 years ago, we had an 11 o'clock game, but it was like the first game or the second game in like September. So it was super, super hot, right?
I was against Boise State.
Yeah, it was against Boise State, 11 a.m. I mean, everybody was passing out. The band members were passing out. I was on the sideline. I was hot as hell, but at least I got to go in the shade. But yeah, that was bad.
I don't think people were there, dude.
What's that?
Because I don't think many people were there because of the heat.
No, I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. Yeah. I mean, that was just not fun. That was not fun. So
I do want to touch on the football program as a whole. Ever since I've also been watching UF football. So obviously since I'm born in the 95, I started watching football, UF football, probably around the same time for baseball, ever since I could comprehend what I'm watching and, keep track of everything. But man, UL's football program has come from a dark place, and we were there for too long, man. With Bustle, he definitely gave it his all. I don't discredit his efforts. But man, as soon as HUD got here, he just put us on the map, turned our program into a better program. And now people know who we are. We got traditions going. We finally figured out how we want to look on a uniform, how we need to play, the kind of, everything, man. I just think that ever since HUD came, UL's football program has literally gone through space and into good things.
Yeah. You almost, and I hate to put it in these terms, but you almost had to have a Baldwin 3 years come in. And the reason I'm saying that is because the program at that point needed a reset.
Yeah, it's like checking yourself almost.
Yeah. So I think you almost had to get to that deep, dark space to be able to come out of it. And I certainly don't thank Jerry Baldwin because I think he's trash. But you look at Bustle coming in after and making us respectable again. I think that, and that's why we love Ricky, is because he made us a respectable program again. And then you have HUD, who I'm not a big rah-rah guy, but he got me fired up, and he got obviously the community fired up. And I think we still, since HUD, have been lacking somebody with that fire to get the community excited. So and we had him on. I think my favorite HUD story of all time was that we brainstormed one afternoon, Josh and I did, and was like, hey, let's get HUD on. And we got HUD on for an interview. And to that point, HUD was not liked really in a lot of the community because of how he left. He there was the Trump thing and all that stuff. But in one interview, we kind of healed his image, and now people understand where he came from. He was able to explain that he, looking back, he regretted it, but also saying the truth. If we were undefeated that season and that happened, I don't think anybody would have said anything. So I think history is going to be kind to HUD at UL, and I think it's starting to show. And then obviously we're still bitter about the way our friend Billy Napier left. However, I mean, look at what Billy did for the program. And and I said it a couple of weeks ago, it's okay to appreciate Billy for what he did here, but it's also okay for me to say F you for the way you left and the way you left our program.
100%. Yeah, I was extremely bitter when he left. I mean, I never in my life, dude, did I ever think UL football would be ranked. Like, I could even remember as a kid thinking, man, I wonder what it would feel like and how good we would be, how we would look when we're ranked. And sure enough, Billy was able to do that for us. And I think he did good. Obviously, money talks, but it is what it is, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And not only that, but yeah, no, I think you said it all. Honestly. Josh, welcome back, bro.
Hey man, my computer is just rebelling here. Can we do a reset so I can know what we missed and how are we taking topics? Are we voting? Are people just calling in?
Dude, you know what? We're just it is what it is, man.
I got some topics. I got some topics.
Yeah, so let's turn it over to you. I think we talked about Cajuns football and baseball and softball, but yeah, what you got on your mind, brother? By the way, your stream is much better now. So whatever you did worked. Yeah.
Good. The old reset button. Who did we just speak to, by the way?
We spoke to our number one Cajun fan. That's LARC2412 on Twitter.
Okay, cool. Now, shout out to that guy. He had good comments.
He did, man. We might need to get him on here.
Being ranked, Cajun football being ranked is one of those things that, well, it's not even explainable. It happened. It was the glory days. I still say that the Sun Belt Championship at Cajun Field was a seminal moment in this program. And the fact that we did nothing with it still bothers the absolute piss out of me. It's one of the reasons why my faith started to wane in the old administration. But that's a whole other topic. If we go down that road, we may never recover. So I won't do that to y'all. But
not at a hurricane party, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to be upbeat, trying to be happy. Let's talk about happy stuff. But yeah, man, I mean, there are definitely some moments over the course of 20 years where you can look back and say the program is in a good spot. There's also times where you can look back and say we could have done more with, everything we did. I point to 2014 the most for that. But, we have exciting things coming. All they got to do administration-wise is just stay out of our way and just let us do what we know to do and build off of momentum. If we can do that, we'll be fine. You're opening up a new stadium. So having a conversation today about, who's going to be the opponent to open up the stadium in 2025, allegedly 2025. If I'm Maggard, I'm on the phone with, hell, I'll take Tech. I'll take Tulane. I'll take somebody regional. Like, why aren't we talking to Houston? Maybe we are. Just to say, if I'm Maggard, I'm
why
on the
are we
phone
talking
with Houston.
to Auburn? Why
I'm
are we talking to Auburn?
I'm talking to Mississippi State.
Yeah.
You want to really put the program back on the map, open up a new stadium with an opponent like a Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Look, right now, or it's tomorrow, I think, Arizona State is going to San Marcos to play Texas State. The vaunted Bobcats got Arizona State, a household program. People know who they are. They've got plenty of history, and they said yes to the Bobcats. There's no reason why it can't happen in Lafayette. To me, it's an opportunity. You're going to have all eyes on you in the state and regionally and nationally to some degree. Let's open up the stadium with an opponent that's recognizable. Maybe they have a plan. I have no idea. This is just me thinking out loud. To me, like I said, if I'm Brian, that is my number one priority. Getting that thing open and doing it in blowout fashion.
And if we have to do a 2-for-1, I'll do a 2-for-1.
I'll do a 5-for-1 to do it that weekend. I mean, really, you can't put a price on the exposure that will come with opening that stadium. And then again, just really piling it on with a great opponent. I mean, The fans deserve it. We've sat through some horrible seasons. We've given when we couldn't. The fans deserve to open up their new stadium with an opponent like, a Houston and Mississippi State and Ole Miss, something like that. We have good relationships with all three of those programs that I just mentioned. So what would be the downside for them? Obviously, football's been at least solid, for the last 5 years.
Well, the downsides is we would have to buy out the contract because we were already in one with Rice, apparently, because we opened with them. But Michigan State did it to us this year, and they got out of it, and That's possible. Correct. Yeah.
Ain't nobody showing up for Rice. Come on, man. Let's lead for once. Let's not just follow. Let's do something different. But, I know that is let's kind of dream speech, just we're going to have one opportunity to do this. Let's do it right. I don't know.
No, I think you're right. You're everything you said is justified for sure. Like we've definitely dude, freaking Texas State used to be a D2 school. I guarantee you we have a bigger athletic budget than them. So if they can host Arizona State, we can definitely host somebody as equivalent or just under par than Arizona State. But
I mean, you can go down the list. I mean, UNC went to, was it App State last year? Did they do a home and home?
A couple years ago.
No, Virginia North Tech Carolina. Was that, I think ODU maybe. I mean, it can happen.
No excuses are out. Texas State has been an abomination since they came into the FBS, and they got Arizona State to go to their stadium. I mean, come on. We can do something.
Makes me mad is that all these new conference members of the Sun Belt that haven't been here prior to 2014, like App and all them, dude, they're coming in and just saying, hey, we're going to take first every year, second every year. And I'm just like, dude, what are the other freaking teams doing? Do y'all even want a program at all? Because these guys make y'all look stupid. Can we please host some good teams? Because back in the 90s, we had Alabama come, we had A&M come, we had Boise come, we've had Kansas State come. I would even consider App coming a fucking good. Excuse my language, sorry guys. A good team coming here, and we even hosted Mississippi State at the Dome, which is cool and all, but whatever. But yeah, we need to host better people, for sure. That's my opinion.
Reward the fans.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
Agree.
I say the same thing in basketball. I know that we purposely schedule these nothing teams. Let's reward the fans, the ones that have been there for 25 years, buying your god awful season ticket package before you even show it to them. Let's bring in a Houston. There's no reason why we can't have an on again, off again relationship with Houston. There's no reason. I know they're Big 12 now, but we have plenty of history with that program and the people that run that program, to be honest with you. There's no reason why we can't do that.
Josh, I see we have another speaker in the space who requested. He just goes by A. I see his last name is Dubois, maybe.
Oh, that's Andre.
Andre, what's up, man? Hey, unmute yourself. Tell us what's on your mind. What's going on with your hurricane party?
Hey guys, I hope the wind doesn't overpower my voice. I'm still on the back patio right now, but thinking back to our last home game and something I was very happy about, it seemed like they had a lot or better fan engagement. Usually during the breaks, they'll have a group come stand out on the side, get a little recognition, which happened a couple times, and nothing wrong with that. But I felt like when I was walking around trying to find a seat that they were really good bringing students on to, let's kick a field goal for Chick-fil-A or whatever, stuff like that. I was really impressed, and that's one thing I know we've all talked about and thought about the last couple of years. So I hope that can continue, especially with the Tulane, even if it's like a fan versus fan, get someone wearing Tulane and someone wearing Cajun colors, and y'all go race to 40 or something. I was really impressed about that.
Josh, what do you think? You thought it was a good?
I agree,
yeah.
But we're vindicated in saying that we should have downsized the stadium years ago. Adding to the end zone was really dumb. Should have taken that money and invested it in other areas, because last week, 2 weeks ago, the place felt. Again, I'll say what I said. It felt important. There was a buzz in the air, and I know it was Grambling, and I know probably 40% of that crowd was Grambling fans, but the principle remains. You pack people together, and the event feels like an event. It doesn't feel like a morgue. It doesn't feel like
exclusive.
And exclusive.
Yeah.
Remember,
I'm
what do we
bored.
used to
I
say?
like that.
If you want more people to come up to your event in Lafayette, everybody knows how Lafayette is. If you want more people to come to your event, tell them they can't come. You kick them out. You revoke their ticket. They're going to want to come more. I don't know if that's just a Lafayette thing, but it seems like it's more pronounced in Lafayette for whatever reason. And I think that the Grambling game was an absolute picture of that. You didn't have perfect weather. I mean, it was kind of dicey. People showed up. People showed up because it's something different. And they were told, hey, limited capacity. You might not be able to come. So you may want to get your tailgate early, get your spot early, get in the stadium early. It worked, Nick. I mean, it's simple. It's just, it's not manipulation. I don't want to use that word, but it is kind of a mind game. You say, hey, you can't come. People want to come.
Yep. I mean, think about Dave and Buster's. Why do people go to Dave and Buster's? Because it's a place to be seen, right? Why do people go to Rock and Bowl? And it's bowling. Who goes bowling? Well, because people want to be seen. That's the place, right?
Even the mind games got to me because I was trying to find an empty seat where there's an actual seat, not on the hill where it was all wet because it had been raining. And they had security guards at every staircase and all that. I was like, well, doggone, if I can find a seat, they're going to have to leave. And they stayed there. I was there till sometime in the fourth, and they were still there checking tickets and policing. So the mind games, whether or not they actually care, look like they did, it's making me, giving me an upsell to buy a seated ticket for the next game. So, Jay.
Andre, what do you think about the MC guy? The guy that goes on the field? I call him the hype man, but what do you think about that whole situation?
I don't have an issue. Speaking of MCs and hype man, I thought Gramblings was a little overdone. Trying to listen to their band, and he's hooping and hollering and everything. But as far as our guy goes, I mean, it seemed all right. I didn't have any strong opinions about him.
I mean, I'm just saying, I started that, and I was the best because I started it.
I got to tell you, I'm not a fan. It feels like I'm being told to cheer. I can't stand that. But
I didn't hype it up. I was on the field doing stuff. That's different.
I know that I'm in the minority on this because most people I ask, they actually do like the guy. It's just to me, it's just overplayed, and I don't like it. But I like to ask because I want to know what other people think.
Dude, do you remember I think it was either the Wildcatters or the Roughnecks, because we had two indoor football teams. Did you ever go to any of those games?
No, I didn't. I did go to the Swamp Cats. That was my thing.
Well, Mr. Bitter was the on-field hype guy. Okay. And look, I love Mr. Bitter. That's my boy. But he was on the field. And if you've ever listened to Mr. Bitter do his Acadiana High broadcast, 235 a nickel on the dime. Call my boy Troy, 235 a nickel. He just rambles.
Touchdown Rams. Touchdown Rams.
But he was doing that on the field as play was going on. So he was on the field. Touchdown, the Wildcatters. He's trying to hype people up. And then, they're huddling up, and he's in the huddle. He's, listening in on the huddle. I mean, he was on the field during the game, talking during plays. That was freaking amazing. And I know that wasn't everybody's cup of tea, and it was probably a little out there. But, man, that was entertainment.
Look,
Mr. Bitter on the mic during a game as it's playing on the field is golden.
Mr. Bitter was original XFL commentator on the field. But, shout out to JP, dude, because look, that guy is the hardest working man in radio. If he had an hour show, 47 minutes of the show was for sponsors. And I respect it because he was unabashed with it. And I still can recite the ads, kind of like you said, what is it? Troy, 989 a nickel and a dime. What was that? That
was my boy Troy, the Acadiana windshield glass. Yeah. And then he'd be like, you go down to PJ's and Crowley, get you a little cookie, get you a little cookie and some coffee, get you a cookie and some coffee and maybe some eggs if it's early. Tell him Mr. Bitter sent you. Get you some cookies. I love it.
He had all the shop rights and the AC dudes, and it was just hilarious. But he did have the best show on Saturday mornings. I mean, how many years did you wake up, roll over, and go, oh, shit, 7:55. I got to get up and listen to Bitter. No, he was
going off on Facebook the other day about Acadiana not having a radio broadcast, which is crazy to me. Now they're doing some kind of YouTube thing, but you don't have you're one of the best teams in the state of Louisiana for the last 15, 20 years, and you don't have a radio broadcast.
Somebody got to step up, man.
Yeah.
Students could do it.
Troy retired, by the way. I mean, not from the glass place. He was a firefighter and he retired.
Oh,
because my brother coordinated the firefighters going to every game and all that good stuff. So Troy was at all of our games doing first aid. I mean, just watching the game. They never had to do first aid. But that was always a joke. It's like our first aid guys are here just to watch the game. But yeah, he retired from the fire department, still running a Acadiana windshield and glass.
That's
And
so
we're still
great.
we're giving him free promo here. 235 a nickel and a dime, baby, if you need a new windshield.
People will never understand how good local radio was from about 95 to 2012ish. I mean, I traveled all over for work and different things, military stuff like that. Nobody had local radio like Lafayette, Louisiana.
And
We just had it
ESPN
all.
1420. I mean, you got to think we had
It was killer.
we had Jay, we had
1420.
K-Pal,
Oh, yeah.
14 to ESPN 1420. There's a I can't tell the I got a great story I'll tell you later, Josh. But I mean, you have to think we had Foot, we had Billy, we had Jay. Then you had, I mean, the callers were freaking hilarious. Kyle would call and just scream at Jay for an hour.
Mr.
Right?
Paul. Speaking
Paul.
of Kyle, did I tell you what happened the other day with Kyle?
He's getting arrested.
Oh, I can't. So I did tell you.
You did.
Look, man, don't ever call or text Kyle to talk about the Saints.
going to
He wants to
jail.
talk about
He's going to
something
jail.
completely different.
He scared Josh.
He did. He had me going there for a second.
No, but dude, and I was fortunate enough where I got to, I mean, I was fortunate and unfortunate because I got to run the board for Billy, because Billy didn't run the board. He would just come in and talk. And I think Kevin might have been the same way. So I got to run the board for those shows. But then again, I had to run the board for football games too. And I specifically remember we played Ryan Leaf in Washington State, I think it was. And it was like, we just got our ass kicked. And like Jay lost the signal during the post game.
Shocker.
I tried calling him once and he didn't answer, and I just shut it off. And I was like, we're done. Back to ESPN programming.
Is there a better rivalry between UL events and the post game show? How is it? How it's 2024? We can't figure it out.
That was in '99. You know,
But 25 years later, we can't figure it out. Like legitimately.
Oh man, those memories, man. Radio memories or something. Look, I forgot what hurricane it was. It wasn't Rita. It was like before that. I was working at the radio station and we did a thing where like it was all hands on deck because people didn't really have cell phones. So the radio, when you're out of power, it was like the radio. Everybody had the radio on. So we would run it all night. And I would go, you know, I went after a hurricane and we would just stay 24 hours on air, just talking and taking calls, kind of like we're doing now. And people would call in, I'm calling to see when the lights are gonna come on Eras Landry Road. I'm at 12:45. Ma'am, don't say your address on here.
You're live on the air.
So that, I mean, that was like 90% of the programming was, when is the lights coming on? But it's like this. That was like the most memorable thing because you kind of like Chris Logan and I, that's how we became such good friends. Cause that night it was just like, we were exhausted, but we were stuck together in the building doing this stuff and connecting with people. So when you said like, let's do this, I'm like, oh man, that brings me back to those hurricane days because people relied on you for information. And like I said, all they had nothing else. The lights were off. It was the radio. That was it. So
look, I got to tell you what
audience
prompted that idea. So I'm not a big Facebook user. I've used it recently, but there's this, I don't know if you call it a group, but it's these two ladies. They're called the Cajun Mamas. Have you ever seen this?
Yes, I want to say that I brought her fame and fortune because I found her on TikTok and on the Hangover Cafe. I played her stuff and had her on and all that stuff. And then Chris got her on the show and then it was a big deal. So yeah, she's freaking awesome.
So look, you maybe you know this. I hear a Cecilia accent. Is she from Cecilia?
Church Point.
Kind of close, I guess.
Kind of
but
close.
anyway,
I mean, it started with a C.
Right.
It's north of Lafayette.
So her and Sarah, the two girls that do the Cajun Mamas, they were doing hurricane prep videos, the reels or whatever.
I saw that.
And I went down a rabbit hole and I just laughed and laughed and laughed. And it reminded me of my grandparents and all the things that they talked about, how, I don't know, just prepping for a hurricane, how absurd it is and how ridiculous. We take it so seriously. You got to fill the bath. You got to clean the bathtub so you can fill it with water. So in case you run out of water, like little things like that. I laughed at that and I thought, man, I got to tell Nick, maybe we could do a hurricane show because I'm trying to get somebody to call in and be like, hey, do y'all have some emergency numbers?
Hey, look, I even invited, I said, hey, DM me. I will give you my number. I'll put you, if you're having a party, I'll put you on video. I'll send you a link. We'll get you on here. Like, that would be freaking awesome.
Absolutely. Any hurricane parties I want to get on, we got to feature them because we've all had a hurricane party.
Send them a link, ball.
In my older age, we don't do as much fun stuff.
Who just said that? Hanging. Was that you, Andre?
No, Cajun fan.
Oh, okay. I'm going to send you a link. I'll DM you one right now. You can come out, hop on.
Awesome.
So, Josh, you had a list of topics, and I know they're not all sports, right?
None of them are sports, actually.
All right. Well, hey,
I'm taking a hiatus from Cajun sports. Well, I mean, not sports, but like the other stuff that we typically talk about when I'm on here. I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be negative. So.
Yeah, right.
All right. How are y'all feeling about Wake Forest?
He just totally changed the subject on you, Josh.
Well, no, that's fine.
Wait. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, if you've seen Wake play at all this year, they're not good. They're not physical at all. I guess they've totally sold out soft zone. They want to throw the ball almost on every down. They have absolutely no running game. Their offensive line is that athletic, smaller, let's try to move type of offensive line. And it's just, for some reason, it ain't coming together, man. They look bad. So I don't know. We'll probably be two to three touchdown underdogs. And I would probably take the Cajuns in that. I know Jared's having a heart attack. I'm talking betting. I would take the 21 to 15 or 16, whatever they're going to give us, depending on how we play next week. But I don't think Wake Forest is very good. I think that tell you what, let me watch us play Tulane before I make any assumptions.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. I do feel like we have a physicality and a size advantage over Wake Forest. Can we scheme them up? Can we outrun their skill guys? I don't know about that. But as far as like meat in the middle, a beef in depth, they're not better than we are. So TBD. Also, can we keep Ben upright against Tulane? Because you want to talk about physicality. What Tulane is Troy with better talent right now. And by the way, that quarterback, that freshman quarterback, Mensa, he reminds me of Clifton McDowell that got proper training from a young age. He is ridiculous, and he's very accurate with the football downfield. So I don't think he's as mobile as Clifton was, but as far as like throwing the ball down the field, he dropped some dimes against Kansas State. I mean, I watched that game instead of the Michigan game. That was a great football game.
Josh, okay, we're gonna get to your topics. I'm loading something up I want you to see. That's awesome. I love there are a couple of groups on Facebook that I'm on, and some of them are giving some hurricane updates, and keeping up with Scott is one of them.
Keeping up with Scott. Oh gosh,
keeping up
where
with
the West
Scott,
begins, baby. I can't wait to see this.
Actually, I'm just gonna share this, and we're just gonna go through it. We'll go through it together, and then we'll get to your topics. How's that sound?
I'm down.
All right, let's get to this. All right, keeping up with Scott, one of my favorite. Are any gas station stores or gas stations open? We got the roundup for all of you listening. Roundabout at Apollo and Scott is opening, and Grab and Go by Super One. So thanks to Christina and Amanda for giving us that information. Danielle said the red light at Rue de Bellier in Congress are not working. It was like that yesterday from the former head coach of Acadiana High School, Willard Hanks. So thank you for that. Has anyone called 911 to let them know so they can go fix it? Oh, there's some replies to that. Let's go to the replies.
You got to click the replies.
Jennifer Fry, do not call, and I don't call 911 for that. So thank you for that. Craig Norman, I appreciate you. Let's see what Jennifer replied. Yes, you do and can. She is a former 911 dispatcher. So when you call them, you inform them it's not an emergency, and you're able to inform them of the issue. So there you go. And Brenda Perazina gave
Jen,
the
we have
face
apps
palm.
for that nowadays. You don't have to call 911.
Well, she was a 911 dispatcher, Josh, and she knows what she's talking about. The bridge at South Congress is now open, but that was from a day ago. So I guess, stores open this morning. They're really worried about their stores in Scott, but, they got pork butts. Oh,
Well, yeah.
pork butts. Oh, okay, y'all.
Them
Super
Boston
One
butts.
and Scott, pork butts are 97 cents a pound. What the hell?
Where's that? At the Pig? Oh, it says
It
Super
said the
One.
Super One, yeah. Village
Oh, you can
Station
do that.
is open.
You can get those at the Pig every Sunday, man.
Now we're having some issues here because Vernon Fontenot said Super One is closed, and Pat Herman is saying the pork butts are 97 cents a pound in there. Oh, they're closed. He said they're closed too. Okay. I thought he said they were open. So my apologies. Giving away mirrors during a hurricane. There you go. Someone got a watch delivered by Walmart. So contact Jean Bageron.
You know, just when I thought Scott was becoming more bougie, trying to copy their sister city over there on the other side of town.
Man. This is good stuff.
I'm introduced to this Keeping Up with Scott group. I'm gonna have to get in.
Dude, you need to add yourself. Yeah, it's good stuff. Can you throw trash that I don't want to blow in anyone's yard? Sure can. Yeah. All right. I'm done. I know Jerry. If Jerry's watching this, he is having a heart attack, man.
Yes. Isn't it more fun though sometimes where you can just say
loose,
whatever?
man.
You don't have to
Yeah.
be, you don't have to talk about a specific thing.
Yeah.
Look, Ryan just crushing people at Walmart.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna find my old Walmart video that I put on a few years ago.
I'm sure there are people at Walmart.
Before we go to you, this was one of the best moments in Lafayette TV ever. I'm glad I caught it, because it was epic. And a certain radio station in Lafayette likes to repost this and take credit for it quite a bit, but
most ripped off podcasts in human history right here.
Naming names, yeah. Let's see if I got it.
Christy Adams was in the store, and the shoplifter was trying to take your sister's purse, right? And then what happened when you guys got outside?
Well, how it started, we was at the jewelry counter, and he kept getting close on me, and I felt something wasn't right from jump. And I told him, I said, dude, back up. And all of a sudden, my sister said, stop him. He has my purse. And I panicked. And I was running. I showed the lady my receipt. I said, lady, I ain't got time. I took off my slippers. I started running. I said, stop that MF. He got my sister's purse. And I'm dialing 911, and I heard it.
So you guys saw it all go down in the parking lot?
I heard okay. And I saw the man literally being drugged from the general merchandise entrance to here. If y'all look closely, his pants over there, his leg was severely injured.
Okay. All right, thank you.
What was better, that video or me doing it?
They were both great. I love that she knew what the general merchandise exit
when
was.
I debated Trump,
Merchandise. Oh my God! Here, we don't want Kamala. No, sorry.
Oh Lord.
That was an ad that came on after. My bad. My apologies.
Lafayette was a great place in the 90s, man.
Oh man, that brought back memories. That was fun. See, Daryl Longclaw even knew what I was talking about Christy interview.
She heard bomb.
And I saw the general merchandise. Stop that MF.
That's hilarious. All right. You got your link for your hurricane party? You going to put him on first before we go or what?
Who? What do you mean? What? Like who?
Somebody was looking for a link to
I sent it to him. Yeah. Hope I didn't close the space. I didn't close the space. No, space
it'll be incoming. I love that kind of stuff. But no, so like on the list that I had to talk about, it was like one of them was the hurricane, obviously. One of them was the debate. You know, everybody watched it. Let's be honest. If you didn't watch it, you read about it, you heard about it. It's something we can talk about. There was other things. Well, the Who Dat, you know, I mean, damn. Me and Nick have been kicking around the idea of doing a Who Dat podcast for probably 6 weeks now.
Yeah.
And that was a hell of a start to the season. You know, I'm not talking about Super Bowl or anything like the Hold the Mayo podcast. These guys are calling in talking about going to the Super Bowl. That would be fantastic. But of course, I would never think that. I know that Derek Carr had a nice game. And you know what? That's not even fair to him because he really played super well.
Yeah,
I'll take 19 of 23 for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, no picks. Or no, I think he threw 3 touchdowns. I'll take that every week.
And with a little attitude. Like, who was that Derek Carr?
Talking a little shit. I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe he's comfortable in the offense, dude. I mean, look, Clint Kubiak obviously knows what he's doing. When's the last time you saw a backfield motion for the Saints? When's the last time you saw I mean, we featured a tight end for the first time since Jimmy Graham back in the Drew Brees days. You know, that made me happy. So much so that Olave had, what, 2 catches for like 12 yards?
Killed me on my fantasy team. Thanks, Chris.
Well, I mean, look, dude, let's be honest here. He's a number 2. He really is.
He is at any other team, but they spread the ball around, so you don't have to have. I mean, it's like Marcus Colston. He ended up being a number 1 and a really good one,
Sure.
but he wasn't on anybody's radar. You know, we spread the ball around.
Well, we made a lot out of that, and he was a hard worker and a humble guy. He was happy to be in the league. But, anyway, just to say, like, we spread the football around. Taysom Hill was utilized better than I've ever seen him utilized. AK looked like 2019 AK. The defense is absolutely filthy. Alontae Taylor already made the Pro Bowl. He's an all-pro already. I mean, he played great pass. He played great pass defense. I think he had a breakup or 2, 3 sacks. He's just in every receiver's face. He's just all over the place. You saw him kind of blossom last year, but there was something extra. Maybe he's more healthy. I don't know what it is, but he just looks like an absolute freak at a cornerback position. And then especially when it lines up as nickel. I don't think that we expected to see that. Even Trevor Penning looked like a good offensive lineman.
And that's what I was going to say. What the hell?
Holy
the
cow.
Offensive line? Are you kidding me? Like, what was that?
Groupie?
Yeah.
Hitting 50-yard plus field goals. Like, what the hell? Nobody could have expected that. So I'm talking about the Saints.
You want to chime in on the Saints, bud?
Fine, dude. I mean, yes, it's a new year, first game. Everyone says, "Oh, but it was against Carolina." Okay, what if Carolina ends up being 11 and whatever, or let's just say above 500? We performed well, dude. It's the NFL. Like, you have the best athletes, in the football world playing against each other now. Yes, Carolina might be having a bad year. I mean, a bad few years, but it's the first game. We looked damn good. O-line did awesome. Obviously,
Story of the game for me, O-line.
Yeah, man. I mean, enough for Derek to do what he needs to do and how he needs to operate. Little rabbit hole comment. I do miss the old Saints on how they operated. I love their playbook. Like, I mean, I was, in 8th grade high school watching the peak of their dynasty, but the way we operated then, like, we put up some points, guys. Man, we just rock and rolled back then.
Yeah, let's be honest here. Bryce Young can't play. Bryce Young is not an NFL quarterback. He's too small. He's too small. He's too hesitant. That offense does not fit him whatsoever. He can't get the ball out quickly. He can't make the hot read. He's just not an NFL quarterback. I mean, that is over. I think we exposed him again, but he's been bad for 3 or 2 years. He can't play. However, Carolina's offense has always been the issue. Their defense has never been the issue. They had one of the best defensive tackles, unfortunately got injured in the game, but one of the best defensive tackles or defensive ends in the NFL. J.C. Horn, they got real stars on that side. To put up 47, and let's be honest, in the first half, we stalled, 2 or 3 times where we shouldn't, and Groupie had to bail us out. We scored 47 points on a decent NFL defense. I just don't think that they were prepared for that amount of motion from a Clint Kubiak offense. I think that's really what happened. And the Saints, you got to give them credit. They capitalized on almost every opportunity. And that's not something we're used to under Dennis Allen. I mean, we're used to the opposite. Like doing the fewest amount of things we can do with the most opportunities. So look, we're going to play the Cowboys. They're a better team. I still think they're fraudulent, like I think every year, but they're not Carolina. Like, they have a real offense. So I want to see Granderson get after somebody. Chase Young, I don't think he had any tackles, but he was in the backfield several times during the game. He was on a snap count from what I understand. Look, we got the pass rush to do it. We got the defensive interior to do it. Linebackers, hopefully Double D is healthy and Pete is healthy. If those guys are healthy, they'll be showcased because look, the guy CD Lamb is the absolute. I mean, he is their offense. Let's be honest, because their running back room is very thin. Their offensive line is okay, but who else are going to feature? Like, throw Alontae on CD Lamb and say, hey, you want to be an all-pro cornerback? Here's your opportunity. And Will Harris was good. Willie Gay was good for us. Take a step forward because you're going to play a real offense this week. You go to Dallas and you win, dude, the hype train has left the station if that happens.
I agree with you. But look, I mean, people, obviously, Saints fans were really excited about the win, but then they said, well, it's just Carolina is bad. I mean, I don't care who you play. It's NFL football. Like if you kick somebody's ass like you did in that game, I don't care who it is. It's impressive.
We don't always do that to bad teams. I mean, I remember playing, Cleveland with, I think it was Johnny Manziel. Didn't Johnny Manziel beat the Saints?
Everybody beat the Saints at some. If you were a new quarterback, you beating the Saints.
Yes.
Is that the game where the punter ran it for like 80,000 yards for a first down?
Yeah, it's something like that. Every time we play these type of teams, they somehow or another stick around, and it was just good to beat the hell out of somebody that you're supposed to beat the hell out of. And that's a division rival. So they're 0-1, we're 1-0. We're already 1-0 in division. That's great. There's a lot of positives. No, do I think Carolina's good? Hell no. But come on, it's the NFL.
Thanks to Joe for giving us an update that North Siberia Parish has power back on. I was just looking at power outages. You can tell where the storm's passing because down the bayou in Homa, ain't got none. They're pretty much all out. Shriver, Gray, all that area. I don't even know that. New Orleans is out of power, but that's just like a typical Wednesday, so nothing new there.
Right.
And Baton Rouge starting to lose power.
Hey, by the way, shout out to Joe. Joe offered his live speakers and mixer for the I don't know if you teased this yet, but the incoming pregame, postgame opportunity for Tulane.
Yeah.
So if we want to use it and we want to interact with the crowd in real time while we stream, Joe's going to hook us up with some equipment. So shout out to Joe.
That's going to be wild, man. That's going to be wild. I told Ryan Landry I'll take shots with him before the game, and I don't do shots, but I'll do shots with him before the game.
I'm trying to turn this thing into like a Bills Mafia environment. I want
either that. Yeah, I'm trying to turn it into College Game Day, and you're trying to turn it into insanity.
I want people jumping off the RV onto a table that's on fire.
You want to have your Hawk Tua moment that goes viral. Is what you want.
So here's the thing. I don't know what that is. I hear it a lot, but I don't watch. I got a daughter, dude. I got to steer clear of that kind of stuff.
You're a smart man.
Do you want to see what it is? I mean,
no, I don't. I don't.
I mean, where it's not after dark, but after dark we can show that.
Well, I mean, it's a hurricane party. I think the after dark rules apply.
Yeah, this is true. So
is Jerry in the space? Or
no,
watching?
Jerry's not in the space. Jerry's dealing with the little one.
Hey, look, check it out. While the cat's away, mice will play.
There you go. Swim into gumbo at the tailgate. Turd Ferguson. That's awesome.
That's great. I like the picture.
What are these green teas like that Joe keeps talking about? Because Joe talked about it, and I think Ryan mentioned it earlier. Maybe
I think it has something to do with mushrooms. I'm not sure though. The good kind, the therapeutic kind.
The sautéed mushrooms.
Yeah,
bruh. Dude's going to that bodega downtown getting some shrooms.
We got a bodega downtown now.
Well, we did. I know they sponsored the Hangover Cafe for a while, but I can't. Pippi's Purpose.
Oh yeah.
They're downtown. Yeah, good
people. I didn't know they had
that dude. That dude knew his stuff. I don't know if I'm assuming it's still down there, but dude knew his stuff. God knows I need all the therapy I can get.
It's the the new wave of the future here in this country. You gotta get what do they call it? Microdosing and all this stuff.
Microdosing, yeah.
I can't mess with that stuff, but people do that.
Yeah.
Hey, if it makes them happy, great.
They're doing that. They're doing the coffee enemas. They're doing all kind of stuff these days.
Coffee enema? What the hell is that?
It's a coffee
exactly
enema.
what it sounds like. This is like the time Nick told me about furries. I didn't know anything about furries, and he's like,
and not even realizing, yeah, that's probably why. Okay, so let's go back to Cayenne, because as I told you, Cayenne was played by a guy who ended up being a furry. Kind of makes sense. Wondering if that's why Cayenne went into hiding. I don't know, but I mean that's a true story.
You got to put the time frame into perspective. So if he was a student playing Cayenne, which I assume he was, and he became a furry all these years later. We're talking about like a 40-year-old furry?
Oh, well, I mean, now, yeah. But I mean, it wasn't like it was 40 years later that it became a furry. It was like, it's like, oh, it all makes sense now.
Closeted furry. So let me ask you this, if you know anything. how does the furry situation work? Is it like a lifespan on the furry, or does that move into like 50, 60?
All I know, you're acting like I'm a furry expert. I'm just telling you, the
Is it a
guy who played Cayenne ended up being a furry. That is the extent of what I know about it.
And now you got
that.
Well, I don't want to talk about that because that could go 50 different ways. We got a sex shop on Johnson Street right in the middle of mid-city, so things are
Wait, what?
Yeah, dude, there's a sex shop. It's called
not Loveworks.
It's called Crave, I think is what it's called.
Loveworks had the best promo song ever.
Yeah, it's got
Love works. It works for me. Love works.
Lingerie and
novelty.
Novelty. Yeah,
It's time for your lover to come and discover love works.
I can't wait for Jerry to hear this episode.
Yeah, I'm fired. He'll be doing Rage and Review on his own from now on. People who aren't in the space are watching right now are out of luck. My poor mom is like, what is he doing?
It's a hurricane party. I mean, what'd you
It's
expect?
a hurricane party. This is what we do. We used to play Blu-ray. We had this old couple that lived way in the country. They would come over for hurricanes every year. Both of them have passes then, but man, we played Blu-ray as soon as the lights went out. Blu-ray was being played.
We should have played Blu-ray on the stream.
Shoot.
No, because y'all would cheat.
Jesse Longclaw. Jesse, you know.
See what I mean? See,
Google
this was
it.
me. What was it, 3 years ago or something? This is me. Like, what the hell is a damn furry?
Google it. It's like a fetish.
Jesse, do not listen to me, and I mean this with all sincerity. Do not Google furry. Don't do that.
You totally should.
Or if you do, just come back and then respond.
And then tell us what you think about it.
It's a personality. That's literally all it is.
I've seen some wild stuff since the furry. Since learning about the furry, I've seen.
Now you're more open to it. Yeah, it's like when you take mushrooms. Like you don't see all these things until you take them. It opens your mind. It's like the furry. Now you see it.
You can identify them in public because they'll wear a foxtail behind them.
John Summerall.
That's good.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Hey, look, I just want to say one small rabbit hole comment that I hope everyone is safe from the hurricane. Whoever it's hitting, I hope that everyone stays safe. But dude, I've been working from home for the last 2 days, and I'm going insane.
That's why Rage and Review's here, buddy.
I can't stand it.
But Josh has been in my house with all my toys here. You understand why it's fun to work from home at Nick's house. I have way too many things to do over here, but I get it, man. I get it.
Holy.
So,
Josh,
what's next?
I was gonna say, what's on your agenda? You had this whole agenda.
Well, I thought the Saints would hit a little bit harder. I thought we'd get more comments on the Saints, but I mean, we did beat the piss out of a bad team, so maybe not. But I was excited. Yeah. I was just excited based on what I saw, like just like scheme and movement in the backfield, and the offensive line performed well, and we threw it to Morrow like 10 times. I mean, of course, I'm excited about that. But anyway, and by the way, they just Moreau, the way they pronounce Moreau, I want to.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And you would think Hoss, because Hoss follows the pod. You would think, Mike, if you're out there listening, it's Morrow, dude. Come on. But
no, I think Saints looks good, guys. Was it Miller that did Miller have a good day? I feel like other than Alvin doing good, I feel like we had other running backs that did well.
Williams was okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say Williams is kind of what we expected him to be. I think we wanted him to be more. I mean, he wasn't really a bruising running back during the game, but I think in goal line situations, that's what we have him for. And he scored a touchdown. So yeah, he's been hurt since he's been here. So it was good to see him get some carries.
And still not 100%. No, I think. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, you cut off on your last comment.
In a little bit, if y'all want, we could stay talking about the Saints, but in a little bit we could talk about Cabote's departure to the practice squad.
Shout out to Cabote, dude. I mean, look, he went in there. He had a lot of competition. There were 5 or 6 backs that were legit. He made the practice squad. He is a Williams injury away from being called up. And if you want to talk about a bruiser, I mean, I know Cabote wasn't used like that here, but he can take the load and he can take a beating. So, I mean, you never know, man. You never freaking know. It could happen overnight. And he was amazing in the preseason. I mean, he was. As far as So like my wife's team is the Bills. I watch the Bills, so I watch intently more than just the Saints. And as far as I'm concerned, in preseason, he was one of the best looking backs that wasn't a household name. I thought Cabote was great.
And Mims was pretty good too, but I think Cabote was better when he had the opportunity. They
More versatile.
had Mims out there a while, right?
Yeah.
Mims was out there and he looked like he would be the guy that they picked up, but I think Cabote proved himself.
I think Mims will probably get some work in the NFL at some point, but I think Cabote just fit what they wanted in a backup.
Correct.
All right, Saints defense. They look good. Alontae Taylor, amazing. Adebo, that's a no-fly zone. You need authorization from the FAA, brother.
Dude, the secondary is good. And if they stay healthy, they're going to be the best, maybe top 3, if not best, top 3 NFL secondary, which is what Dennis Allen has always been able to put together. And look, the best thing that could happen to the Saints is that Dennis Allen's the damn defensive coordinator and Clint Kubiak runs the freaking team. That's what we needed. Poor Pete Carmichael, he was in over his head, dude. The game passed him by 10 years ago.
That's what I was saying. Like, I cannot stand Dennis Allen as a head coach because he is not one as a head coach. And this nonsense of freaking your boy coming out, Mickey Loomis, and saying, well, Lombardi didn't win in his first 3 seasons. Like that, you're comparing this guy to like legends of football. That's not Dennis Allen. I'm sorry.
It's almost as dumb as Maggard saying that Mike Norvell started out, so we should, take it easy on Dez. I mean, come on, dude. Let's come on. Hey, that really happened. That's a true story.
Oh, Josh, you're going to get me in trouble now. But anyway, as I was saying,
this is why you guys have me on here.
Yeah, this is it. I lost my train of thought. I don't care anymore. All right, go ahead. Moving on.
Well, I will say that, Dennis Allen, how he's been doing as a coach, like us as a Saints fans, we see the Saints trend and we've seen what Sean Payton can do for like 10 years. So
15, right?
Dennis Allen, we're like, dude, you are not doing what we used to do. And I understand he's not watching the Saints on his couch like we are every Sunday. He has a job with a certain organization that he's coaching at that time. So he doesn't care about how Sean's doing or, implementing the same stuff whenever he takes over. So like that's what I think about, how Allen approaches his position at head coach at the Saints. I think he's doing well. I mean, shoot, he is not doing what we hope for, for the first few years, but this could be the year. We shall see.
But here's the deal. Sean Payton was an offensive coordinator. Sean Payton can call a great offense if he has the right players. I mean, you saw it. He had Drew Brees. It was the same with Belichick. Belichick had Brady. What happened when Brady left? Not saying Belichick's a bad coach, but he surrounded himself with the coaching. He had Dennis Allen on defense. He was calling the offense. We had great players at the right skill positions. We had good play callers, and we had a lot of success. You felt like when Dennis Allen took over, we want to steer the ship in the same stay in the same direction. Oh, by the way, we're also in salary cap hell, making poor decisions in the offseason and in the draft. And in that regard, Dennis Allen doesn't have to be a Bill Belichick. He didn't have to be a Lombardi. All he has to do is surround himself with good coaches, which thankfully, now that we have Clint Kubiak from one game, small sample size, looks like it's going to be a good hire and looks like things are going to work out for us. When you're in salary cap hell, you can't have a bunch of star players. We've got Kamara. We paid David Carr $100 million for 5 years, so I guess he is a star player. But you don't have a bunch of superstars outside of a couple of players on offense and defense. So you get guys who you can spread the ball to on offense. You get guys on defense who are solid. You have to have a good scouting team, which I think we've done really, really good. Somewhat in the defensive side. Offensively can kind of be a little sketchy, but the point I'm trying to make is a very long-winded answer. Dennis Allen doesn't have to be the master of everything. He just has to guide the team to where we need him to be and make the right decisions. Like, are we going to call a timeout here? Are we going to throw the flag to challenge the play and stick to defense? And I felt like he just wanted to last couple of years, it was because of loyalty. I don't know if Gail Benson said that Carmichael had to be here. I don't know if that was a Dennis Allen thing, but Carmichael had no business being here after Peyton left. He's not a good offensive coordinator. He's a shadow under Peyton. Peyton was calling the shots, and we saw what happened when Peyton left. We couldn't call a game. Our gameplay, our game plan was terrible. Our play calling was terrible offensively.
But Carmichael, I think Carmichael represented what Sean left behind, and I think DA doesn't know a lick about offense, so he kind of just attached himself to Carmichael, which I totally understand that. If you look at the human element about, hey, we've been winning, I don't want to just clean house, even though it might be obvious to some. Maybe in the building, Pete was doing other things behind the scenes. Look, Sean won with Teddy Bridgewater and Jameis Winston. Sean built a team, and he handed over DA a winner, a ready-made winner. All he had to do was stick to the basics, like Jerry says. He had the defense in place, and I think that it was just natural for him to say, all right, Pete, run it. And Pete was like, dog, I ain't looking for a rebuild. I got my championship ring. I got the glory. He could go anywhere else and get a raise at the time. He probably had one foot out the door. And you can also probably say that Pete and Sean played off of each other. And this is another thing I want to say. Personalities matter in this regard. Some people are ones and some people are twos. Some people are CEOs and some people are CFOs. Like DA doesn't have the personality, in my view, to lead an organization. Sean did. Sean double middle fingered Roger Goodell, and he did it over and over and over again. That's the kind of guy I want being my coach. That's the kind of guy who can be a CEO or a head coach. DA ain't going to do that. DA will talk shit to the media and to the fans, but when he's getting breathed down his neck by ownership, he's going to acquiesce, dude. That's the kind of guy he is. That's how he comes off anyway.
But you know who you can't get that BS pass? The people in New Orleans. They read right through that.
Saints fans? Saints fans will see straight through you, dude.
But if you get in their good graces, they'll be loyal to you to the day you die. And we're seeing that with Derek Derek Carr right now. He has a chance to redeem himself after 2 years of being hated in the community. He has a chance to turn it around. He did in game one.
All he has to do is keep his mouth shut and stop with the preachy crap and stop with the guys. Dude, we know that y'all play for each other. We get it. We know that you do homework with your kid. We get it. All right. Just shut the hell up and throw the football. Don't make mistakes and don't beat our football team. And we'll love you. You're never going to be Drew Brees, but we will love you. You have some room somewhere in that trophy case if you can just produce. But we don't need a preacher, and we certainly don't need somebody to tell us how great they are at home. I don't care about that. Saints fans don't care about that. Go out and perform. That's what we need. We need to get back to winning.
Boom.
Yeah. So that leads me to this point, actually. That's actually perfect. So I do get really nervous with the lack of success we've had that players want to leave, especially Alvin. It would literally make my skin crawl and make me sad, really, honestly, to see Alvin on a different team other than the New Orleans Saints. But this question is actually directed to you guys and put yourself in the player's shoes. If you're Cam, who's been there through ups and downs and definitely seen some really high ups, and then seen the downs with DA, would you, if you're Cam, would you be telling new players or even old players that are still in the squad, hey man, remember how it used to be in 18 and 2018 and 2019? Just, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, like, would you tell players like, hey, we used to have it good around here. I don't know what the hell's going on with DA and all this other stuff, but stick around because this is a special place and we win around here, dude. We're always late drafting every year because guess what? When you're drafting late in the draft, that means you're doing something good. That means you're making the playoffs or you're getting eliminated late in the playoffs. And getting eliminated late in the playoffs is actually a damn good thing because you're not getting you're not one and done in a wild card or the divisional round. You're making it to the NFC Championship game, and either you make it or you don't. And I'd rather either not make it, and I'd rather those outcomes, and that's just what I'm saying.
Josh.
Well, I thought you were going to go first.
Sorry.
I like to pay attention to what they say about Gail Benson. Because, and I know that's a kind of a cop-out answer, but the truth is that look, Mickey Loomis is the guy that has to be the bad guy. Like, he has to sign off on a contract. He has to pay a guy. He has to not pay a guy. So he's like your middle management guy who gets the bad rap for ownership. So I totally understand that. He's like the SID office for the athletic director. Sometimes they have to do things that are unpopular. But it seems like most of the comments that come out about Gale are overwhelmingly positive, especially from the legacy guys like Kamara and Big Cam. There's a reason why he's been here for over a decade. He could have gone anywhere. He could have taken a massive pay raise at any other place, but he stayed in New Orleans for a reason. If you remember, in DA's first year, Kamara gave a presser talking about how this is not Saints football. Like, he was clearly visibly upset because they weren't winning, but they weren't just not winning. We had great talent across the board, and they were blowing football games. And I mean, I'll be the first one to say I thought that happened because of the sideline decisions, but he was upset. And I think that the majority of the guys that have been on this team 7-8 years and coached or played under Coach Payton feel that way. You look at leaders like Double D and guys that have been around, even John Stitchcomb, who's calling the games now. He's kind of shed some light on that during the broadcasts. They know that they have a first-class organization here in New Orleans. I would say most of that is not under Gale. Most of that is under Tom Benson. Has it shifted? Has it changed? How much has it changed? Is Mickey Loomis the same guy? I know he's doing double duty with the Pelicans, and maybe, I've actually read people say that it's hurting the relationships in the building with the Saints. Some of that could just be malcontent, but I don't know. For me, I pay attention to what they say about ownership, and almost always it's positive.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, I think the problem from my perspective is the loyalty, because people like Gale because she's, I from what I've heard, she's honest, she's easygoing. I guarantee you, when Kamara was going through this contract negotiation deal, she probably called him into the office and talked about him and said, "Alvin, I love you. What are you doing? Play for me." So she's a very approachable person. I don't know if you've ever seen her or gotten the chance to meet her in person. I did once. I mean, it wasn't anything. She'll never remember who I am, but just very, like, she automatically makes you feel like you're very important at that moment. So I think that players love playing for her. I think when it comes to Cam, it's a family. And I think Cam feels that. And like you said, Josh, that there's a reason he could have gone several places, but he's not. He's staying in New Orleans. So I think the one downfall, and I don't know if it's her, Mickey, but the loyalty that they have past the point where they need to be loyal to someone like a Pete Carmichael, like people that we clearly as fans see need to move on, but they keep and retain. I think that's the one drawback that in the Saints, is that they're loyal to a fault almost sometimes, and they keep people around longer than they need to be here.
So last comment on this, and we can move on to something else. But, the Saints, we were so bad for so long. To me, from a human aspect, it's got to be difficult to kick a guy out of the building who has a Super Bowl ring and was an integral part of the Super Bowl run. It's kind of like, maybe an ugly guy who finally finds a girl that he thinks is somewhat attractive, and then they have a decent relationship, and then she's like, "Look, dude, get a better job, get your shit together, or I'm out of here." And she leaves, or an abusive relationship type situation. They're going to stay around way past the point of it was time to leave each other a long time ago. It's similar to that. So was Carmichael bad at his job? Yeah, it got bad. But do I understand why it was difficult to part ways? I totally do. I think that it's so evident that it was stale and guys had lost confidence in Pete just from 1 year, man. Not even a year. We're talking about 7 months ago, 6 months ago. The offense looks like we look like a completely different football team on offense.
The sideline. Look at the sideline and how guys are acting versus last year.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, is that a DA guy? Is that a Clint Kubiak guy? Like, or is that a DA thing, or is that a Clint Kubiak thing? Who knows? Maybe we got to give DA some credit and say, hey, this used to be a fun locker room. When I got here, it kind of became like, mass. Maybe I should loosen up on some of that stuff. What happened to we win, we dance? Like, let's bring it back. Let's get Gale back on the sidelines twirling the umbrella after we win. Let's do something. We got to get some fun back in the building.
Well, they got
Seems
the
like
lights.
they did that.
They got the lights in the locker room now. I don't know if you've seen that, but they actually installed LED lights, a light show for a DJ for
Hell
post game.
yeah.
I love that.
That's killer.
what we need, dude. That's what we need. Ryan, I see you're in the space, bud. You snuck in on me. If you're still awake, I'm sure you have a take on something. What's the weather like? What are you doing? Are you how many beers in are you? Ryan fell asleep.
No, he's there. He texted me just a minute ago. He'll be in.
He's like, let me in. All you got to do, Ryan, is unmute yourself, and we'll let you talk. How's the weather in Lafayette, Josh?
It's nothing.
Yeah, 3 days off of school, huh? 3 days off of school.
That's what I tried to tell Jared. We shut down the schools for 3 days for an hour of wind and light drizzle. I was trying to tell Jerry. Jerry wanted to know if everybody was evacuating. I was like, dude, for what?
Dude,
like, is this not my first tropical storm / hurricane? Is it for you? Like, we all knew this was going to happen. It was going to shift, or there was going to be, the fear mongering on. This is going to lead into our debate conversation probably, but the fear mongering from Perillo and the gang is so absurd. Like, we've done this so many times. 1 out of 20 hurricanes actually do anything at all, but you crazy people went out and bought $800 worth of batteries, and you bought 15,000 gallons of water, and you know what I mean? Like, everybody does it, and I get why you do it, because the one time you don't do it, you're going to need it. I get all that stuff. But my God, it is a frenzy around Acadiana anytime the word hurricane comes into play, and I just laugh at it.
No Vienna sausages to be found anywhere within a 100-mile radius of Lafayette. Who eats? By the way, even if people buy that, do they really eat them? My mom would buy Vienna sausages. I don't think we ever ate them. I think
Has anybody ever read the ingredients?
Well, I don't read in the ingredients on a lot of things, but the last hurricane that passed through Houston was, it knocked out power for 2 weeks over here. Category 1, because the energy capital of the world can't keep their lights on. But it passed over my house, like literally the eye of the storm passed over my neighborhood. It was pretty bad, and only category 1. I was some of my coworkers went to the office that afternoon after it passed. I was at work the following day. And
we'll all be at work tomorrow
for 2 weeks.
We'll all be at work tomorrow. It's
look.
What's more pissing off? What's more pissing off? Getting prepared for a hurricane, spending money on, I had to go buy some new extension cords to run the refrigerator and all this stuff. What's more pissing off? Spending money that you don't want to spend on preparing for a hurricane and everything getting shut down and your week being disrupted, or totally ignoring the fact that there's a hurricane in the Gulf and then it destroying killing your power and then ruining your week.
Well,
it's more pissing off to get ready for it and nothing happened.
But it's just like canceling school, because when I was a kid, Hurricane Danny came, like I was in 3rd grade or something, and 2 hours before it hit, they were like, "Oh, okay, well, we're going to cancel school now." But like in 90, it was Clinton's inauguration. I was in 8th grade.
Andrew,
and we're sitting
Hurricane
there.
Andrew.
Well, this wasn't even a hurricane. It was a flood, like the biggest flood in like 100 years in Lafayette. And it was flooding before we went to school, but we got to school and we couldn't get home. Like, we were stuck at school because it was flooded. You never got off of school. That's why when I saw you out cancel class, I was like,
apocalypse.
They did what?
Yeah. Well, I remember I must have been in 1st grade. So 6 years old. So that would have been like 91, 92 time frame. Hurricane Andrew comes through.
Yeah.
It's literally going to make landfall. I think it was that night. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think Andrew was going to make landfall that night. We went to school, and I remember our parents picking us up because it had already rained a ton, and it was a mess with the buses. But we got home. These kids never go to school. These kids never go, and they want to know why we're 50th in education and 50th in this and 50th in that. Well, maybe if we went to school, we could mitigate some of those numbers. But these people never go to school. They can't wait to cancel school. They can't wait.
Yeah, the teachers, they don't want to go to work. I mean, hell, you get 3 days off.
Dude, so we go to Fatima, right? So we got the notification. Wednesday and Thursday classes will be closed. Okay, I could somewhat understand that. Then 2 or 3 hours after that goes out, in an abundance of caution, we're going to also close on Tuesday.
What happened
What are you
yesterday?
talking about?
Nothing.
It's a tropical storm. We're talking about 30-mile-an-hour winds at this point, and there's a low pressure coming down. So very obviously, it's going to shift to the right or to the east. Like, why are we closing today? Like, what are we closing for today for? We're 2 days away.
Let's go back to the apocalypse prognostications, because Rob Perillo, as long as I have, because Rob was KLFY like back in the day. That's how I was there when Rob, like, hey, look, who's the legend of Lafayette meteorology?
When he was just meteorologist, not chief.
No. Who was the man that people still talk about to this day?
Oh,
Dick Farrow.
Farrow, yeah.
I almost put him in the cover for this episode, Dick Farrow. But and then he came after. It never fails. Gustav, right? Gustav was clearly going to Baton Rouge. I will never forget that, because I remember he had the line he would draw on the thing, and it went right up Vermilion Bay, right into Lafayette. He's like, well, if it inches, a little bit this way, it's coming straight. Rob predicts every single storm in the Gulf is hitting Lafayette. He gets so geeked up about that.
It's like the guys were saying. I bet Rob's is throbbing right now because he is excited. He is over the moon.
Thank you for not saying that, by the way.
Well, look, I'm trying to do my absolute best here with the censorship, but it's gonna wiggle, it's gonna waggle. Everybody, just don't get comfortable yet. It's in freaking Vermilion Bay and going like past Baton Rouge, like east of Baton Rouge, and he's still like, look, now we're seeing that the storm might actually be worse on the west side. Like, these bastards are shameless.
It's never bad on the west side.
They can't wait to see gas prices go up 50 cents in 30 minutes. They love it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just that to me is funny, but it's always been that way. That's not new for that station.
People should be put in prison over that. That's so wrong.
All right. What's next on your agenda, Josh? We got through the Saints, got through UL stuff. Debate time?
I got like 10 ones, but yeah, we can do debate. What did you think about the debate last night, Nick?
Disaster. I think
all-encompassing disaster. Or?
I think Trump lost. I mean, I don't think that's a question.
It was clear.
But he only lost. He didn't lose in content because he basically said as much bullcrap as Kamala Harris said. The only difference was she presented it in a way that appealed to people because she completed sentences and he couldn't finish a thought. And Trump took the bait that she threw out there and they're eating your dogs. I mean,
yeah.
Come on, man.
That's where things kind of went off the rails. And I think I would have left the dogs and cats to JD because JD does better than that.
But the people who prepared him in the back are sitting there going, don't say the dog. Don't. He said the dogs.
Please don't.
He said the dogs. He said,
Don. Please don't talk about the Haitians eating the dogs. We don't know if it's true or not. However, the memes came out of it that hilarious, took over the internet for a while apparently.
And
so
look,
I guess
I'm not a Donald Trump defender at all. I mean, you and I, we both were RFK guys, and
we can have a real conversation here. I know people get pissed about politics. Look, by all means,
but
I'm
telling you,
just having a conversation.
But what pissed me off about the debate and why I turned it off is that it was abundantly clear they were going to challenge Trump. I mean, they had responses to his answers before he even completed the answer.
Yeah.
And Harris got off the first question. So are we better off than 4 years ago? Completely
never
ignored it,
answered
did
the
not
question.
answer and just moved on. And she told several lies. And I don't believe that this 2025 thing is Trump's thing. It's clearly not. It's his name is nowhere on it. He said it multiple times. He's not involved with it. The thing with Charlottesville, he never said it. That was taken completely out of context.
It was a media creation. That's what I hate the most.
But at the same time, I mean, we're laughing at the dog thing. The media was reporting that RFK ate dogs, and it wasn't true, and there was no retraction, and people just, we just move on. So Trump gets crucified for saying the stupid dog thing, that the Haitians are eating dogs. But the media did the same exact thing. They said RFK was eating dogs, and it wasn't true. No retraction, and no big deal. We're not going to take it back.
That's actually a great point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So it's a double standard.
even if eating domesticated pets was true and Haitians were doing that, that's a lose-lose proposition for Trump.
Why would you even say that?
Why the hell would you even bring that up? It's almost like he was grasping at that moment and he had this like brain fire that Haitians, I was watching TikTok. Oh, I'm gonna bring that up. It was almost like impromptu. Do you agree with that? It was like
that's Trump.
It
Trump
is.
Doesn't I mean unless he's
better
got,
or worse.
Unless he's got a teleprompter in front of him and he's reading from it, his brain is firing off and those thoughts are coming out as he speaks as those thoughts fire off. There is no filter. There's no, I mean, you can't make sense of it because so many times he started a thought, then he just switched to the next thing.
Yes.
Because his brain is working faster than he can actually like put the sentence together. So that's who he is.
Well,
and so when people say that he lost the debate, it's like, he didn't really, because that's who we know he is. Like he showed that that is Donald Trump.
Would I say he lost the debate? I think he didn't perform the way he should have. He had many opportunities to
He
do
lost
much
the
better.
performance, 100%.
Yeah, I think the optics were very bad for Trump. However, if you look at, you look historically, they don't typically really sway the vote one way or another. It's more like it solidifies one group or the other. And before we get too much into the specifics, because I know there are topics we can go down the list, but I'll ask you this question, then I'll respond first, but I'll let you answer too. If you're just being honest, you watch the debate, you come away thinking blank. And for me, I came away thinking, and I'll give one of each. I came away thinking Kamala didn't help herself because she's so full of shit that the media can't even use the clips for blurbs and media posts and commercials because if they get fact checked, they will be destroyed because she lied about so many things. And most of the stuff that she referred to were media creations. And we all know that. But it sounds good on TV in a debate because it riled up Trump and she actually controlled the narrative. She really did. She controlled the direction of the conversation. But a lot of it was not true. Easily provable. Not true. So I think that she actually hurt herself that way, even though the performance came off in her favor. I think she hurt herself with the substance that she used. Trump, I think he hurt himself because he had so many opportunities to bury her. They did not focus on the flip-flop. Oh my God, she's flip-flopped on everything. Literally every big issue she's flip-flopped on. They didn't hit that at all. The immigration opportunities that he had that they've destroyed, he just went off and rambled about nothing. He never nailed her down on the question she never answered. He never said explicitly to the very end. At the very end, he said this, but he did not carry the water on this. You are in the ruling administration right now. What do you mean you're going to change on this, and this? She never really distanced herself from the Biden administration, and he never hit her on it because he was so worried about being defensive and, when she said that the rallies were bad for him because people would leave the rallies, you could see his face.
That
enraged. He was enraged. And look, you got to give credit to whoever's running her campaign because that was a brilliant move. They absolutely nailed how he was going to respond to that, and he never recovered from that, I don't think. So he hurt himself in that regard. I come away thinking bad person who lies and is going to set really terrible policy for the country on the left. I kind of have this feeling, and please don't kill me. I'm just giving an opinion. I think Trump is a little bit in decline mentally. I think that he's not as sharp. I mean, dude, what's Trump, 78, 79? I mean, you can't really fault the guy. I just think that he meanders. And when they prep him for these debates, it's not a well-kept secret. He sits across the table and they just banter and they conversate. They don't have specifics. They don't do, I'm going to recite these notes and I'm going to hit these points. He doesn't do that. The way that he does it is he just has a conversation across the table from somebody else. And that's why he meanders so damn much. And it has been good. Thanks. Get the hell out of here.
What's up?
Trying to make a salient point here. Anyway, I come away thinking those two things, and I'll let you answer.
Can I ask something?
Go ahead.
So watching the debate, I think blank. With today's technology, man, I think it's in the best interest of any politician to just have a clear clear thought of what you want to implement in your country, and you have to stand by your word and be honest, man. People will fact check you every chance that they can get, and it is in your best interest to just have a clear, honest goal, and honest work. Like, just do honest work. And because I know that it seems like there's people like I'm born in '95, so I'm doing research on the '70s, '60s, and a lot of research. But like, I just think that you got to be honest. You gotta say what you mean, because Kamala's saying this, and then she says this at the debate. Like, you guys, that's not gonna like, that's not gonna be good. There's no way. There was something else I want to say, but I couldn't remember, and it slipped my mind.
I think so. What I came away from that is Kamala Harris presented her lies in a more thoughtful way. I mean, that's it. Because they're both going to lie. And I just think she presented the lies in a more thoughtful way. And her base exploded like she is the greatest thing on earth because she really shut Donald Trump up. But in the end, I don't know that you're going to have anybody that's voting for Trump that's not going to vote for him because of that debate. I mean, you had the same thing on the Republican side. To me, the funniest line of the whole night was, I'm speaking. And he's like, you remember that? I thought that was hilarious. Trump had some good one-liners.
He had a few of them. That's true.
The MAGA hat, give her the MAGA hat. So that lifted up his base.
But do you think that's going to win an election now? Because I'll tell you, I don't think that.
I don't know, but I don't think it goes. I think, first of all, I think debates are stupid. I don't even think we need to have them anymore. Because
I don't know. I think we learned something about Kamala Harris. Don't you? I think that, first of all, she's never been exposed like that one-on-one. She's never been exposed like, now look, if you want to look at 2019 and how she tried to say that she wanted to ban private insurance and she was for totally letting the government take over insurance, was one of the dumbest, most anti-democratic comments you can make. And she did it on a stage with other Democratic politicians, and nobody crushed her in the media over that, other than, the right did, but like, what? You want to hand over private insurance to the government? Haven't we tried things like that before? Hasn't it been a disaster? That's one of the dumbest things ever said. But nobody calls her on it. Like, these moderators asked questions, like poignant, real questions to her twice. And even when they asked her the flip-flop questions, they didn't push her on it. I think that our electorate now wants substance. I think that Trump served a purpose in 2016 and maybe even in 2020. And when I say Trump, I mean like the things that represent Trump and what bolstered him. I think we're beyond that. I think you got guys like RFK, which, full disclosure, Nick and I are big RFK people. I was actually thrilled that he joined the campaign because I think he can make real change in a campaign that's in the White House. However, you got guys like that going on podcasts. The rise of independent media has totally changed these races. The devolution of media, mass media in this country has also changed things. It's different electorate. But you have guys like this that are having long-form conversations explaining why our health is so bad, why our, like the Federal Reserve has hurt us in so many ways, why the stock market is working the way it is, and why fundamentals have completely changed. I think that we have a more educated electorate. I don't think you can just go up there and say, well, your policy is C-spot run. Now, that's funny, and it's going to play for TikTok and social media, and I think that matters to the youths. But to people that really understand policy and in our 40s, 50s, 60s, people that decide elections, if you look historically, you got to give me more than, the greatest hits. The Trump greatest hits, I don't think are going to play anymore. I think Trump has got to up his policy game, and he's got to be able to respond. Like when they asked him the abortion question, say what you want. Look, he made the comment about the Florida IVF stuff. And in my view, he's on the right side of history there. But he didn't explain why. He just said, I'm very big on IVF. I'm a big IVF guy. That works in 2016, Nick. It doesn't work in 2024. I'm sorry. The Roe v. Wade thing changed everything in that space. You got to be able to speak somewhat clearly, somewhat educatedly. Educatedly. I just made up a word trying to talk about being educated. How bad is that? Somewhat informed on the issue. You have to do that. You can't just say I'm a big IVF guy. I'm a big fertility guy. Okay, cool. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, and I'm going to go to Jesse, and he said Donald Trump didn't need to do anything last night, which I agree. I don't think he had to do anything, but I still think he hurt himself a little bit because he did some things that, I mean, like you said, he just rambled. He didn't have a coherent sentence in the whole thing.
I got to respond to that comment. This is an election that's going to be won on the fringes. This is a margin electorate. 1% can change the race in the electoral college by, I think it was 4 states, or I think it was 14 electoral votes. Trump needed to do something last night. I'm sorry. I just totally disagree with that. Trump represents a certain part of the country, and that's never going to leave him. But I'm telling you, if you really look into the polls and you look into how things are, the Democratic registering Democratic voters, especially women, is up, I think, 380% from the last election cycle, so 2022. And the Republicans, more men are being registered, and it's up by like 17%. So we have way more new Democratic voters who are going to push the button for the blue. Doesn't matter who the candidate is, they're voting for the apparatus. I just don't think that Donald Trump is in a spot to be running his typical campaign and resting on his laurels. And also, I don't think his campaign believes that, because if he did, they wouldn't have been courting RFK. Like, Bobby didn't need to do this. He was running on principle. Trump repeatedly reached out to his campaign. They've been talking about this for a year. I think that they know that this is a margin victory for them. 1% is going to move the margin. It's going to move the electorate. He had to do something last night. And I'm not saying he killed his campaign. By no means do I think that. I just think that he could have really helped himself last night. I actually watched to see if he was going to be able to up his game, and I came away unimpressed. I mean, and I don't think when I watch these things, Catherine made a great point. I kept saying this, and this was my thought on the comment that he made. And she kept saying, look, you got to watch it as if somebody who doesn't follow politics is taking this all in and saying, who am I going to vote for? Is this going to move me anyway? And in that regard, he didn't do well. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. I mean, we might have another debate, and it might not matter to a whole lot of people, but if you're being honest with yourself, he didn't. He just didn't.
Well, all of a sudden, Harris didn't want to have more than one debate, so she only agreed to 1 out of 3. And like right after that debate, she's like, oh, we need to have another one. How about that, Donald Trump? I mean, but so they're going to turning down because they were so worried about her doing so poorly. But what they did was they prepared her for 2 weeks in straight talking points. At the beginning of that debate, how nervous was she?
Oh, I thought this was going to be a slaughter.
I mean, it started off to be a slaughter.
Well, they started talking about J6 10 minutes into the thing. Right. And I said, wow, we're already going J6?
January 6th was the worst attack on the United States since the Civil War. Pearl Harbor. Tomorrow is 9/11.
A day before 9/11. Yeah, that was really bad.
Me?
Yeah.
But again, her fan base is just like, well, yes, that was. And people are just so blinded by a color or a party that they can't see through. Like, even look, there are some things that as a fan of RFK, I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, that's stupid. But like the hardcore Harris or Trump fans, they can do no wrong. They hate the other person so much that it blinds them. It doesn't matter what their person's. There were people last night saying, hell yeah, they're eating dogs. And there were people on the other side saying, hell yeah, that was the worst attack on American soil ever. But take your glasses, listen to what these people are actually saying. Listen to the substance, and then you'll kind of break down what kind of person they are. And Trump, look, I wouldn't throw a low blow like this, but when she attacked him for supposedly $400 million, first of all, so what if he got $400 million from his daddy? Why is that bad? I think that, okay, if he got $400 million from his dad, that's freaking awesome. I wish I had $400 million, which was a lie, which he said was a lie. But he had the perfect opportunity to fire back and said, well, how did you get into politics, Ms. Harris? Where did you get your start?
Oh, her whole spiel about how she came from, small means and humble means or whatever. Both of her parents are professors. One at Stanford and one somewhere else, can't remember. If we can get people in the middle And 80% of America is in the middle, by the way.
Right. Exactly.
If we can get people in the middle to understand that the people on the hardcore left are voting for an apparatus, they are not voting for an individual. They're not voting for policies. They are voting for a certain type of class to rule that party, which will set policy for them going forward. That's all it is. The right is not like that. They are with the culture war stuff, but that's fringe stuff. No, we can bicker and piss about that. While we're arguing about Haitians eating cats and dogs, Citizens United has destroyed our politics, and corporations are buying politicians. And that's why I'm pro Bobby, because Bobby's up there saying, how do we reform that? That's who I want. I want that kind of person in the White House, the person who keeps his eye on the ball, who understands that this Republican, Democrat uniparty is all a puppet show. Everything that really matters is happening behind the scenes that they never talk about. The fact that corporations are buying politicians is our real issue, not if they're eating cats and dogs in Springfield.
It's something, man.
Destiny, what's up, dog? Yeah, we had to go politics on Hurricane Party.
Like, how did we freaking get here? You know, like, I guess
Citizens United is how we got here.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, in my opinion, these politicians, these people running for this position, they need to take this stuff seriously and stop playing games. You're trying to run for a very important position. Stop trying to diminish this country and take your job seriously. Quit, I keep repeating myself, quit playing games, take it seriously, have an honest approach to making this country better, and quit fucking, I'm very sorry. Quit feeding in to what everyone else is saying. That might not be true. Yes, hear the people of the United States, hear what they have to say, register that, implement it into a plan, and then go from there. These Kamala and all them, they're playing games. They're probably orchestrating something behind the curtain while at the debate. So whenever they're done, their little operation can be like, all right, start it, go. And then they do something. And then now whoever's in office at that time is going to get crapped on, just like Trump got crapped on for this COVID crap. Whenever everyone was forcing him to shut the country down, and then Trump was like, all right, fine, I'll do it. Oh my God, okay, fine, I'll do it. And then he gets bashed for doing that. I think it's a lot of hypocritical bullshit going on, and they need to take this stuff seriously and quit messing around.
Ryan, what's up, man? I see you. Oh, Ryan is not a speaker anymore. I thought he was wanting to speak. Look, I'm so over it, man. Like we've been, this has been since 2016, you know, that we've been in this war of people against each other, and just the double talk and I mean, it's just so ironic. Some of the things people say, like, well, you know, January 6th. Well, what about the riots? Well, what about the people who are currently going into the capitals and trying to get, you know, and you're getting arrested there? Nothing's being said about them. I think the scariest part to me, honestly, is that the government is doing to Trump and his associates what they've done to people like Edward Snowden, what they've done to other people who expose things that they don't want exposed. Because why hasn't anyone in New York been indicted on the same charges that Trump has for overvaluing their property? Not one person in New York ever has been through that court case, and he gets indicted and charged with that as a felony. You know, and so
it didn't make headlines.
And but like, in my head, as somebody who is not a Trump fan, I've never voted for Trump. But you look at everything that has transpired, not only with him, but his associates. I mean, they're freaking prosecuting Rudy Giuliani. Like, everyone he's associated with that is being prosecuted federally. And you're saying, oh, well, it's not a political thing. And then the guy gets shot. But they're now, of course, now that's a whole thing because his ear looks fine now, but whatever. But like, you kind of like after a while, it's almost like the conspiracy theory is true, because this is starting to like look a little suspicious. Like so if they can do that to Donald Trump, who was the president of the United States, that scares the hell out of me. And that should scare everyone. Like, that's not how the government's supposed to work. You shouldn't be able to prosecute or persecute your political opponents. And that's low key what they did. And again, I'm not a Donald Trump fan, but that's
it's not low key. They did it right in your face.
They did it in the face and then ignored it.
They've been doing it for years. It's just because it's the president this time. But
yeah, you're right.
Usually corporations or senators or low level government are they kind of did this with the mob. The whole Kefauver hearings, they had nothing on those people. They really didn't. And I know the mob is really a bad example because they're bad people, but the Kefauver hearings really were just, they were just poking and prodding. People throw around lawfare way too much, but they basically, they found ways to get these people in a courtroom so that they could start doing discovery in real time. That's what happened. I mean, the mob was locked tight until the Kefauver hearings. That's the truth. However, I just want to keep our eye on the ball. The political process in the country is completely and totally corrupted, has been for a long time. And if you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it. When the Rockefellers and the Carnegies and all those families owned the government, owned it, and then you had FDR come in and change things because he was from that political class and he wasn't scared to take them on. All this is just history repeating itself. Citizens United allowed corporations to buy politicians all over again. This is the reason why the Philip Morris company now owns our big food companies. Like literally the people that were supposed to be prosecuted and dismantled for owning and lying about the harms of tobacco own our food. Like nobody talks about that. We're over here talking about nothing. We're talking about, J6 and all this bullshit. We have children at stake here. Like we need to be looking at the things that really matter. Not if it's illegal to fly another foreign country's flag in your yard. It's so dumb. We're so dumb. We are so caught up in the bullshit banter on social media and all that stuff. We're not paying attention to the real crimes that are taking place in the courts and at the highest level in the 1% and the corporations. Like we're not paying attention to that. And I hate that. And as much as I know that Donald Trump is a change agent, and look, say what you want about his policies, but there were some things he got right. I mean, you can't disagree with that. However, I think that the circus aspect of what politics has become, I think that cycle is on the out. I just do. I think people are hungry for substance. I certainly am. And it was fun to stick your foot up the media's ass back then when they deserved it. And I think they've been exposed to a level that, I mean, really, there aren't many people that still listen and watch the mass media anymore. So that's a great thing that came out of that whole thing. But like people want substance. Like, cut the crap. We are way too, for people that really pay attention, we're a much more educated electorate. We need a politician that reflects that. I don't know if it's Trump. I don't think it is, honestly. I mean, he might still win. I'm not just saying that, but I need like his vocabulary in the political realm is so limited and it's tough to listen to. It's the greatest hits. Like that shit has a freaking shelf life. Trump, you've been in the political environment for 8 years now, longer. Like, step it up, dude. Like, you got to. Was J.D. Vance the vice president that he should have picked? I mean, let's have that conversation. Nick, what do you think about the vice presidential pick on the Republican ticket?
Not impressed.
So sometimes you got to trust your gut, right?
But on both sides, like, what were either one of them thinking? I mean, Waltz is an idiot. Vance is an idiot. Like, and I get it. It's almost like a Dan Quayle pick. Right. Is it because you don't want them to overshadow you? Because either one of them, I don't want serving as president if something should happen to Trump or Harris. That's a scary thought. I mean, hell, I don't want the current vice president to be in office, but that might very well happen.
Well, she may as well be. Cool. Have we seen Biden? I don't even know where, is he alive?
But that's just the irony of all of this. And you were going back to media, like 2 months ago. Oh, Joe Biden is fine. How dare you'd suggest that he is not capable of being a president? Yeah, it's terrible of you. How dare you, Josh? And then 2 days later, oh, Kamala's the answer.
It's crazy.
I'm gonna let you go, RC. Give me 1 second. it's a true test of how powerful the media and the messaging and the way they control content. It's a true test of that because you took the most unpopular vice president in history, a person who ran for president and couldn't get 1% in the freaking Democratic primary. You took that person and made her out to be a change agent in the Democratic, as the Democratic candidate for president. That has everything to do with how they sold her. So if she wins the presidency, not only is it dangerous for the way our system runs, it kind of is an indictment on the low information voter. Shout out to Rush. It kind of is an indictment on that, dude. It really is. So we'll see.
Yo, but before you go, did Trump? There's a video of Biden putting a Trump hat on his head today. That can't be real. I mean, I don't think the man knows where he is, so he might as well have done it. But if that's the case, that'll be in every Trump ad going forward. I mean, Trump thinks that they're eating dogs, so he probably thinks this is real. This is going to be an ad campaign.
Apparently, Putin endorsed Harris. So.
Holy cow! Well, yeah. Well, he said, you know, why are dictators endorsing you? And actually, guess who endorsed Harris the day before?
Look, in the words of Kevin Garnett, anything is possible.
Hey, you know what would be nice though? If we can go back in time and be in the room where the founding fathers said, okay, this is how we're going to take care of the country and we will be the help for the people. That would have been a beautiful time to witness. And then I want to fast forward to when did it all switch? Like, when did everyone just start hating each other and implementing like under the rug stuff? Like y'all are saying, we just need honest people and do what you're gonna say and have substance. I think it was probably a beautiful time whenever they're trying to figure out how they want the country to be ran and for the better for everybody. And then years go by, and then it's like everything just went flat on its face. And then now you have, you know, politicians feeding into TikTok stuff and whatnot. It's insane, man. It's just like, keep your head down, focus, implement your plan, be honest about your work, and good things will come.
I agree with that. I think one of our biggest issues, and it's not an issue, it's just life. People are busy, man. Like, in order to be able to cut through the BS, you would have to follow politics religiously. Like, I can tell you right now, I probably consume political jargon, deep dive research, whatever. I would probably say 4 to 6 hours a day. You know, hour in the morning, hour around lunchtime, 2 hours in the evening. I'll listen to a lot of pods and read a lot of stuff. But the majority of us don't do that. I'm just fascinated by it. Majority of people don't do that. So all they have to go on are the clips, the memes, the sound bites. Like, that's the way that they get their news. And unfortunately, that type of system is set up to hit the low information voter because, I mean, honestly, you have 15 seconds to watch a TikTok video. You may like something that Harris said, but you have absolutely no idea that she's flip-flop on literally every single policy she's ever had an opinion on. And that's dangerous. Look, I'm not going to say Trump hasn't flip-flopped on things, but he has. There's no question about that. The thing is that for whatever reason, it doesn't stick to Trump because Trump comes off as genuine. Harris comes off as the most inauthentic human being I think I've ever seen. So again, that's optics. There's so many parts and variables to the equation. But like, to your point about the polarization of the right and the left, the right and the extremes of both parties have gone off the freaking deep end. A lot of that has to do with the infection of money in politics. You saw it last night. You've seen it over the course of the last, 20 some odd years. But when FDR went in and busted up the monopoly of the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and all them owning politicians in America, he made it illegal for corporations to dump money into campaigns. That it was illegal. And only it was illegal for, 70 some odd years until we had Citizens United. And I'm sorry to keep saying it, but it is the absolute pinpoint moment where everything changed. And you have corporations dumping hundreds of millions of dollars into congressional races, senatorial races, gubernatorial races, not let alone the presidential race. So until we address that, this common identity politic problem that we have in America is never going to change because they fan the fires, and it's on purpose. It's all a distraction so they can continue dumping the money into all their little special interests. Nothing will ever change until we address that. There's a reason why it was illegal, and then the damn Supreme Court was like, whatever, spend as much money as you want. It's free speech. It's free speech. God, that's a whole other freaking can of worms we can get into, but probably for another day.
RC, what's up, dude?
I love it.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Sorry for the politics, Ryan.
No, hey, well, yeah, that's why I kind of got in and out, scratching the pot, listening to y'all.
Make it stink, Sha.
Yeah. So the only thing I'll ask about the debate last night, do y'all think that Kamala, whatever her name is, do you think she had the questions beforehand?
I think it would have been very difficult for her to answer the way she did if she did not have some sort of tip of what the questions would be. Honestly,
I think because of history in Donna Brazil,
correct.
Very highly likely that she had questions. Also, didn't you find it interesting that they had a rebuke for Trump anytime he went off any type of way out of the main talking points? Like they had a response for him, and they never pressed her, and they pressed him on 2 or 3 different issues. Like, what was the issue where
I'm definitely not. I kind of do the same thing as you, Josh. Like kind of an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening, look at different political sites or whatever. But it was too obvious to me.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, people who I know that aren't into politics watched it, and they were like, "What?" Well, first of all, they were like, "What the hell was that?" But
If
that
I
was
was Trump, I would have had the balls to say, "Hey, quit doing me like that. Ask her those kind of questions whenever she answers it too."
But here's the problem. He is so in a hurry to get those whatever's in his mind out of his mouth that he can't. It's almost like he can't compose that sentence because there were so many times where he could go in for the easy kill last night against her. So many times. But because he was still worried, he got so enraged by something she said and took the bait that his mind went straight there, and then he just started rambling.
Yeah, he gets excited. But yeah, if I was Trump, I would be like, dude, quit doing that to me. Do that to her too. Like, leave me alone.
But interestingly enough, you look at the fact checks the next day here in Houston, and it's funny because the fact checks were like, Trump said this and it's false. Trump said this and it's false. And then you get to Harris, and it's like, Harris said this, questionable. Trump said this, well, maybe, half truth. Nothing was false that she said according to the media, which is a lie. It's a lie. They're lying for her. So my question, somebody like me, who's in the middle, fiscally conservative, socially more in the middle, who looks at this and says, why is the media covering for her? Why? And then you start trying to peel the layers off and try to start figuring out who is the man behind the curtain, because they did this so many years for Biden, so obviously for Biden, and now they're continuing that trend. So are you telling me that no matter who Republicans run in the future, they're going to cover for the Democratic candidate? Is that where we're going with this?
And that's horrible practice.
Yeah, I mean, again, moderators are there to moderate a debate. They're not there to fact check. They're not there to give their opinions. They're not there to engage with all they're trying to do is hold everything together so they don't, talk on top of each other.
It's a TV
and the
show.
Media, like you think back to Dan Rather. Dan Rather got fired for lying in one report. And now people are doing it regularly in the media. And it's no big deal. It is no big deal. So you wonder why people don't trust the media. Well, because again, you go back to RFK, they claimed he ate a dog. He didn't eat a dog. That's the dumbest thing ever. But there was no ramification for anyone who ran that story. It just went away. No big deal. But now they're hammering Trump because he said something about people eating dog, which is stupid. But that's the point. Like, the media is doing what Trump did, but the media gets off scot-free. There's no accountability.
So one thing that I think both sides could have done to, provide substance, like y'all had mentioned earlier, but also stop the media from running away, is every time someone makes a point, just say, hey, you had the last 3.5 years, or you had 4 years, in your first term to do this, and you didn't, or you did, And I felt like Trump, the closest that anyone came was Trump whenever he talked about the Ukraine war, was they're asking, who do you want to win? It's like, I want it to end, period. Like, that's the, we're not picking sides. We need this to end. And if everyone else had just said, hey, I want this solution, or, you said this, you didn't do this for 3.5 years, and not going off on wild tangents. Like, hey, you had 3 years to do this, you didn't do it. You had 4 years back then, you didn't do it. I mean, that would have stopped, or it would have made the debate go along, but also would stop the media from saying, oh, Trump said this in a while, or Kamala said this in a while. No, the coaches need to be better. Say, hey, every time they say something, look, let's go back to real verifiable history. We don't have to go on all these crazy tangents and confuse everybody. It'll help the low information voters too if it's simpler.
But the question is, why are you even asking a question like, do you want Ukraine to win the war? Like, that is such an odd question to ask somebody. So it's almost like they were trying to bait him.
Sports betting?
They were trying to bait him into answering a question that undoubtedly, if he answers it yes or no, it's going to affect him politically in a negative way. So he answered it the best. That was actually a good moment for him because he said, I just wanted to end.
I thought that was his best moment of the night.
But they try. I mean, it's like now the moderators are trying to bait him into, saying, do you want Ukraine to win? That is insane that you would even ask that question. That could have been posed in such a different way.
Let's be brutally honest for just a moment here, okay? If you ask the average American citizen, do they care about the Ukraine war? They might pay lip service and say, oh, yeah, sure, I hope Ukraine, whatever. If you say, okay, average American citizen, it's costing you in between $1,200 to $3,600 a year in taxes. Would you rather keep that money in your pocket, or would you rather send it to Ukraine? What the hell do you think they're going to say?
Oh, yeah. No one cares about this war. No one cares about Israel.
Nobody gives a shit about this war. That's the truth. And Trump said exactly what needed to be said. End the war, period.
Yeah. And same thing with the Israel thing. Like, let them blow themselves up or whatever. Like, but we need an end, and we don't need to be paying, that much attention to it on our end, And I know there's refugees from both countries that come over here, and
and there's a religious component. That's the tough thing. Religious component, and AIPAC, who owns our government. AIPAC owns our freaking government. That's a whole other thing.
Boys, we need to get together and guide this country to victory. I swear, we have a great group right here.
Domain Jagno 28, baby. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Domain Jagno 28.
Right, we stepped on Ryan. Look, all you got to do is look and see who owns these companies. That's all you got to start there. But we stepped on Ryan. Ryan, I know you're making it stink. What you cooking tonight?
He's stirring the pot, bro.
Making it scratch, or scratching it and making it stink. I was gonna ask him earlier. He's the one you need to send a link to. He's got his own bar back there.
Yeah, you're right. So we're at 2 hours, 18 minutes. I'm getting hungry. I got stuff to do. Let's go one more topic and then we'll call it a night because this has been fun, man. Maybe we do need to do a spinoff, just talking random stuff with people.
A non-sports
give me something.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Well, you picked the topic. I picked the last three.
Oh man, I wouldn't prepare for that. I don't have anything. I don't know.
I got a topic.
Go.
I got one too.
Are y'all done with politics?
Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
2-lane tailgate.
Not bad.
Fitting to go down.
Yeah, I'm working on it, man. I'm trying to get some equipment. I got plenty of equipment ready, but I'm trying to get some elite equipment to make sure that it is as professional and ready to go as possible. Because if I'm gonna do it, man, I'm gonna do it right. We're not gonna half-ass this. We're gonna do it right.
Okay, so are you gonna be at your brother's tailgate, or are you gonna be at the Pogie's tailgate?
I'll be at Pogie's, baby.
Oh my God, it's about to go down.
All right. Well, so you're asking about the green teas. It's nothing but Jameson and peach schnapps and a couple other little things. No mushrooms.
That sounds awful.
Some fentanyl in there. Who knows? Bar back.
Who was saying something about fentanyl? Somebody was saying, was it during the debate? I don't know. Maybe I'm dreaming things. They were putting fentanyl in something weird, and I'm like, they're putting it in like X-Lax? What are you talking about? It was something off the wall.
I do have one small topic.
All right. Last topic. What you got?
Do y'all know any more information about the I think it's the east side of the football stadium, where the press box, the new press box is now? Do y'all know anything about if we're gonna have like a giant press box of any sort, or what it looks like of anything?
Nobody knows because it's no longer funded by the state.
There you go.
Because I noticed that what we're building now is all a bunch of suites and stuff. I didn't know if there were. I knew there's gonna be a press box on the other side. I didn't know if y'all knew how it was supposed to look or anything.
There will be, but Landry pulled the funding, so who knows? You know, I mean, we all told y'all this was going to happen. They promised. It takes them 15 years to raise money privately to get one thing done, and they say, "Oh, the other thing is funded by the state," and the state goes, "Oh, what?" Happens all the time.
Yeah,
but I don't want to be negative.
You can't be negative, Jerry. Jerry. Oh,
all right.
I want to cry.
Josh.
Yeah,
man.
This is the life of a Cajuns fan, brother. It just is.
Josh, it's been fun, man. What song should I take us out on today?
I voted for Hurricane Chris. Did you come in with Hurricane Chris?
No, I didn't. I kicked it off with the no, I kicked it off with the normal stuff, but
I got the new intro ready.
Are we doing Halle Berry or what are we doing?
You're the DJ, buddy.
Yeah, let's do that as a tribute to when he was in the Louisiana legislature, which I forgot I sent that to you, by the way.
The new Rage and Review intro is ready to go.
Yeah,
I'm pretty fired up about it. It's not as good as the last
now,
one, I believe.
or do we want to wait?
Oh shit! I'll play it if I can get it on here. Let's see.
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, can we get a preview?
Hell yeah, we get a little preview.
They seem excited about this. Let's do it.
I'm hyped.
Same here.
I'm playing with this while you're at it. Yeah, I got to get through this stupid.
Now playing.
All right, you ready? I'll throw it up.
Yeah,
here.
go for it. Go for it.
Let's see. Forgot how to use the computer. I haven't been using it that much. All right.
In the world.
Jerry is gonna lose his shit when he hears this.
Hondo P.
Nothing yet, by the way.
You can't hear that?
No, I don't hear anything.
All right, let me try.
Negative.
Tell you what I'll do, Nick.
You haven't arrived. Are you sending it to me?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Oh, there we go.
If the chat works, because you don't let me have the privileges anymore.
Dude, no, you have the privileges. It's your email address. Are we gonna fight about this again? That you can't figure out how to use freaking StreamYard?
I've been hanging out with Jerry too long. I got the boomeries. Look, I sent it in a text message. Message.
Well, I'm not on and now I'm gonna have to copy that to a freaking.
We've been here 2.5 hours. 2 more minutes won't hurt. You got to give the people what they want, dude.
Do they really want it? I mean,
how bad do they want it? That's a good question.
Yeah, I'll work on this.
So Spaghetti dealt last night, huh?
Yeah, he did. I mean, well, he had a rough start. That sometimes happens.
Dude, they threw him into the fire, and he's done nothing but get better.
Dude,
threw a no-hitter in the majors.
Hey, guess what? I'm bringing back to Cajun Fuel this year.
What you got?
Well, that's not working. I hate this phone.
Mm-hmm. You were just busting me up.
Yeah, no, hold on. Why isn't it working? This is stupid.
I can play it. Hang on.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
This is connected, so let's see. Tell me if this works, y'all. Let me unmute. All right.
I need some glow sticks.
Being elite is never on sale. It's never 50% off, and it's never discounted. Our whole goal is to try to be elite. I'm allergic to mediocrity.
And just after his birthday too, man. Hit me in the feels. Wasn't expecting that. All right. Nice job, Joshua.
Slaps or
Sounds
what?
like a
I like that.
Hell yeah.
Well, it makes my little clip sound stupid, but this is.
So I know it's not as like put together as the last one because I mean that literally took me a whole weekend. But I like the robe. It's a little bit more simple, and then it runs. So if you want to talk over it, it's easier. You know, you can get into the show, fade it out however you want. But you know, I had to give the girls some love. We never have the softball team on here, so I had that at the end.
I like that.
But yeah, I thought that beat.
That's coming back to Cajun Fuel this year because they lost the file. Yeah. So very excited about that.
Got to play the greatest hits, man.
All right, man. Well, look, I'm tired. I'm hungry. I got to pee. Got to get out of here.
I feel
to
you.
make myself useful today somewhat.
I need a refill. Oh, hell yeah.
There's your hurricane, Chris. If you ever, by the way, if you ever get the chance, go on YouTube, look up Hurricane Chris, Louisiana Legislature. You will not regret it. He actually performs this song on the floor of the Louisiana House, and it's something else. Throwing out some raging review tags. Josh, thanks again for joining me today. I know this was off the wall, last minute, crazy, but it's a lot of fun, man. We'll have to do this again sometime. Jerry, when he hears this, will absolutely lose his mind.
We're fired.
We are fired. Fired from a job that didn't pay, but whatever.
Thanks for having me on your show, Nick.
As always, like, subscribe. Stay safe during the storm. Don't go do anything stupid now. Especially if you're down the bayou. Just stay home and mind your manners. For Josh, I'm Nicholas. Until next time, goodbye, everybody.
In your city, I'm from Louisiana, so you gotta show me how your city do it for the camera. Make it drop and bring it back to the top. I'm no amateur, girl, you could give it to me. It ain't nothing I can't handle. She just got out the shower, smelling like